correct. It was on the NASA website, and it was a document that actually is a PowerPoint presentation by Dennis Bushnell, the chief NASA scientist at the Langley Center. And it was presented in 2001, July of 2001, just a few months before 9/11. And what brought my attention to it and immediately rang some uncomfortable realizations was when we first came across it. It says on the website, future strategic issues, future warfare circa 2025. And as I decided to just flip through it quickly to see what it was about, I was a little stunned on page 4. It said, the presentation is based in all cases upon existing data, trends, analysis technologies, no pixie dust. And the entire premise of the document, or the PowerPoint, is about robots, cyborgs, and humans. So I immediately saw a conflict between future and now. And I thought, what are they covering up? Because that was a definite cover-up. And then I started to continue looking through the document with shock. And that's why we're talking right now. Because I think most people would be shocked to find on page 93.
So who wrote this NASA document, and was this intentional? Did they want the public to see this, do you think?
Well, again, the Illuminati, the most wealthy, rich men on the face of the planet, always telegraph everything that they're going to do. So the fact that it was on the NASA website, it was certainly available to the public, but did they see it? Obviously not. Because had they looked at this document, you would know about it right now. And we don't. And that's the purpose of this discussion, is for people to know about this document. Again, the conflict between the future and the fact that they said it was current reality in 2001 of July when this was actually presented. And what it said, which was quite shocking, on page 93, it said, capture, torture Americans in living color on prime time. And that is an unbelievable statement. Then it's followed up by saying terror attacks within the continental United States using binary biologicals take down critical infrastructure. They are going to use an EMP, which is an electromagnetic pulse. They're going to use radiation frequencies against our brains, etc. And conduct serious cyber and collateral damage and exploitation. On this same page 93, they say exploit CNN syndrome. Now, CNN, of course, is the network, the news media network, propaganda machine, and was set up by the CIA. You can watch the movie called War on stopthecrime.net for all the background information on CNN. Very, very interesting information. Then you go on and you read that on page 66, they say increasingly critical are human limitations and human downsides. Humans are too large, humans are too heavy, too tender, humans are too slow, both physically and mentally, and we require huge logistical trains, meaning we cost way too much money to maintain, and humans have rapidly decreasing to negative value. Can you even believe this? I mean, you're hearing this, and it's got to be rather shocking coming off of a NASA website, particularly when some of the agencies that are involved are the U.S. Air Force, DARPA, the CIA, the FBI, Southern Command, Atlantic Command, Australian Department of Defense, and other agencies. This is the corporation's agencies. We are USA Inc. We're no longer under a constitution as proclaimed in the Iron Mountain Report, which everyone should read. On stopthecrime.net, you can download it not only as the document, but you can watch the documentary, which I highly recommend, you will see how the stealth and deceptive, incrementally positioned attacks upon the Constitution have rendered us now a corporation, and we no longer have a legitimate government. We are being controlled by corporations and banks that are posing as a legitimate government, and they're not. We wouldn't have a legitimate government with the war machine stating what they were going to do on the continental United States to all the people. And this is not just in the United States. This is a global planned attack and assault with technologies beyond most people's comprehension. Everyone is buying books and guns and ammunition, and they don't realize that the beam weapons, for example, on page 45, beam weapons increasingly prevalent. This is how they're going to attack. They talk also about, on page 9, this is very interesting and horrifying. Humans have taken over and vastly shortened evolution. They're going to direct evolution. They believe, the bankers, the global elites, believe that they have accomplished immortality. And they're doing that, again, keeping in mind that this entire document is about robots, cyborgs, and humans. They've already mapped our brains. We've just recently heard that they can transfer a human brain into machinery. So whenever they tell us that this is a new scientific discovery, we know it's been decades and decades prior to us ever finding out about these things. And they also talk about microdust as a weapon. They say that this micron-sized mechanized dust, which is distributed as an aerosol and inhaled into the lungs, the dust mechanically bores into the lung tissue and executes various pathological missions. They say it's a completely new type of warfare, and it is legal. It's legal. This is what they're going to do to all the humans on the face of this planet. It's all legal. And then they talk about how the use of frequencies will be used in warfare. And we know, for example, the smart meters that are being deployed around the globe, the replacement of our electric meters, which will also and does include the replacement of all of our gas meters and our water meters as well, and will be connected to our food supply when they collapse the currency and they issue energy allowances, and that will all be controlled through the metering system. But they talk about the use of low frequencies, microwave frequencies, and they mention in this NASA document the U.S. Army report. The U.S. Army report is on our website,
Whenever I think about when I listen to shit like this, I think about the other people that don't listen to this shit because they're fucking stupid. And what they say, too. You believe anything on the internet, don't you? You believe anything on... No, motherfucker, I've done the research to see and look. And then also, the shit's coming true. They tell us the conspiracies because no matter whether people want to believe these things or not, they put them in movies and everything. Because how else would they give you the instructions to make everyone do what they're told?
metersmurder.com. It's about a 20-page Army document that talks about the use of frequencies to target the enemy. We're the enemy. And they say 100% of the human population will be affected by these frequencies. Some will be the canaries in the coal mine, which is a term that they've been using as people have...
P.S. This video is years old.
Been dropping like flies. People are experiencing all kinds of health maladies. Generally, it starts with ringing of the ears, heart palpitations, skin rashes, inability to sleep through the night. And what they're doing is they're jamming our immune systems with these frequencies.
So how do the elite shield themselves from their own weapons?
Well, that's a really good question. And some of the information that we've come across is, of course, they have methods far ahead of anything that we have available to ourselves, such as cancer cures. They don't get cancer. There's chip mechanisms that we understand can fend off certain frequency attacks. We also know that they're interested in transhumanism. So much of what they're doing globally, they're interested in. And to what extent they're affected by all of the chemtrails and all of the nanofibers that are being dropped, which is phase 1 of the first protocol. It all lines up. Everything lines up. You connect the dots. You see the NASA war document. Not only does it talk about the effects of frequencies and how it will be used, they acknowledge that it will interfere longer.
That's another thing too. Motherfuckers be like, how you know all this stuff is true? Because it all fits together too fucking perfect. Use your fucking brain.
A debate about smart meters. We don't need any more scientists or doctors saying people are getting sick. This is the intention. So we have to stop looking for more verifiable proof that people are becoming sick. This is the goal. This is the absolute goal. It's incarceration, it is enslavement, and it is depopulation. And it is massive mind control. The frequencies have multiple purposes.
What do you think the solution is to all of this multi-level attack that's been going on for a very long time?
Well, I think the solution is that people need to become educated as rapidly as possible. And there are documents that are, for example, the Silent Weapons Quiet Wars document. It's a 41-page document. It's on our website. This lays out, it's an operations, research, and technical manual. This document was the 1954 Bilderberg policy at the first Bilderberg meeting. And this laid out the strategy to control the human population. And again, I can't stress enough that everyone should read this, because they talk about how they talk about that this document should not be released to the people because it is a declaration of war.
You can't keep fighting fires. You have to go after the arsonists. That's what you're pointing out, is the people that are responsible. And everything we see out there, what they're spraying and why are they spraying, nobody's talking about the conspiracy itself. This is a war against the people, and this, you've got a hold of those specific people, and that's why that's valuable. They're killing us.
That's exactly right. And this is their war plan. This is the war plan. So we have to go to the war plan. This is only 41 pages. You take out the diagrams and you've got 36 pages. And it's not hard to read. They say that it's the silent weapon technology has evolved from operations research, a strategic and tactical developed under the military management in England during World War II. The original purpose of this research was to study strategic and tactical problems of air and land defense with objective effectiveness used in initiated military resources against foreign enemies. And they go on to talk about how they came across technologies that they had. In 1952, the grant period terminated and the high-level meeting of the elite was held to determine the next phase of the social operations research. The Harvard project had been very fruitful, as is borne out by the publication of some of the results in 1953, suggesting the feasibility of economic engineering, studies of structure of the American economy. And they talk about how It was engineered in the last half of the 1940s. The new quiet war machine stood, so to speak, in sparkling gold plated hardware on the showroom floor by 1954. So this document talks about a combination of irresistible attacks upon humanity and how they will control humanity. Politically, they talk about how they set up the political system right and left so that we would feel our grievances were aired and our frustrations could come out. But the bankers were behind everyone who was elected, and they laugh at us. They laugh at us. The very, very last, and I'll go to this right now because we'll come back to the document itself, but the very last statement in this document, it says, Factor 6, cattle. Those who will not use their brains are no better off than those who have no brains. And so this mindless school of jellyfish, father, mother, son, and daughter, become useful beasts of burden, or trainers of the same. So what they say in this document is they will dole out poisonous foods. It's not what we need, but it's what we want. And those that decide to eat these foods will have the consequences of that. They tell us how they set up all the social engineering, how they devise the family, how they crumble the family, how they set up the war machine, how they influence thinking in the family unit to allow the family to give up their children to war for a rich man's fodder. It's a document that discusses the artificial womb. They believe that people need to feel protected and that the elites are going to serve as the womb for protection of the people, that they'll have a place to take cover and hide from the reality of life because we just are not capable of managing the reality of life. So they will set up that artificial womb. It says, the objective of these artificial wombs is to provide a stable environment for both stable and unstable activity, to provide a shelter for the evolutionary process of growth and maturity, survival, to provide security for freedom, and to provide defensive protection for offensive activity. And they say that from the time a person leaves its mother's womb, in every effort is directed towards building, maintaining, and withdrawing into artificial wombs various sorts of substitute protective devices or shells. So they set themselves up to protect us, to keep us crippled, to numb us down with foods so that our pineal gland is interfered with. We're never able to reach our higher consciousness. And right now, the massive fluoridation across the United States is to collapse the ability for us to think. They're shutting us down right now.
They take your baby and make it Rosemary's Baby.
That's exactly right.
It's very similar to The Matrix, which was based on a DARPA document. I mean, it is similar, isn't it? It's problem, reaction, solution, the same way they always operate. So I guess the best thing to do is wake everyone up and hope that a grassroots movement can change it. Do you think revolution would be necessary at some point, or could it change without that? What do you think?
Well, I think we need a revelation, not a revolution. A revolution would only bring in martial law, in the opinion of what we are looking at, would bring in martial law. It would also allow people to be targeted with the weaponry that they cannot wait to roll out on us. You add the drones, you add the microdust, you add in the beam weapons that they tell us they have. They also have a blast wave accelerator. And when you look at the population of the United States, the majority of the population lives along the coastlines. And the blast wave accelerator was a tidal wave invention that the United States dreamt up with the Soviet Union back in the 40s. Actually, it was going to be used in World War II instead of the bombs, but they decided to use the bombs instead. And the blast wave accelerator exploits the methane deposits on the seabed and causes a fingerprintless, plumeless tidal wave on low-lying areas around the perimeter of any country. That
Right
they
now
just
you've got your weaponized Gestapo meter that keeps track of every house and every movement and every bit of energy that you're already doing and can report back to whoever is observing. So we're virtually in a concentration camp right now.
Yes,
in the meantime, the food supplies are being reduced. As you're mentioning in your other interview, how the dams are being taken out and the food. I mean, it's so obvious that the federal government coming in and wanting your child even at earlier and earlier ages, every place, everywhere, and it's based on the foundation of climate change, which you mentioned. You might want to get into that and your Iron
That's
Mountain.
absolutely true. All the documents, the Iron Mountain document, even the NASA war document, talks about there are too many people using too much stuff, and the Earth cannot support this. And they've come up with the fear-based scientific fraudulent information that people are now accepting. They're rewriting history and they're rewriting science with the idea that people are using too much resources. We have to reduce CO2 and reduce our greenhouse gas emissions, and that is flying through every city across the world right now. It's written into all local government documents, and cities now are, California, for example, with the CARB initiative, where we have to actually pay for the air we breathe, and we're taxed for the air. It's like the fiat money. We've accepted false-backed money, which they tell us in the Iron document, or in the Silent Weapons document, one of the reasons that they send our men and women off to war is to reduce the population, because they have stolen from them. They've taken real labor service in exchange for illegitimate false fiat money. So they have to eliminate the creditors. That's another aspect of war, is to reduce the creditors. But it's all based on the false pollution that is not false. They've created the pollution. When you look at the Iron Mountain document, you will see the methods in which they were going to create pollution. They even say that they will deforest us, and they're doing that with the chemtrail, the secret chemtrail or geoengineering program or weather modification. Actually, that program has multiple layers. Not only does it increase weather events, we've just experienced some horrific events here in the United States with massive tornadoes that just destroyed a number of cities in Oklahoma. We're being hit globally. They're hitting our food supply. It does reduce our food supply. It will increase the cost of our food. It's changing the pH in the soil, which will then fit to the prescribed Monsanto mega corporation food takeover of the globe. That is the intention of Monsanto, is global food domination. They have the seeds. The seeds will grow in the polluted soil that they are creating. This is all by design. So what do we do about this, you asked? We first must become educated. And I would say that the quickest way for people to become educated is look at these very simple source documents. Look at the Quiet Weapons Silent War document. Look at the Iron Mountain document and the New World Order Exposed 1969. They're all on our website, stopthecrime.net. Of all the research we have done, if you just get those basic documents understood, if everyone understands the fraud, then we will be able to eliminate this. We don't have to go on with this fraud. We do not. And people keep saying, well, there's more of us than them. Well, that may be true. But sadly, now, there are technologies that are so unbelievable that people won't even realize what hit them. And that is the strategy of the future wars and the wars that we're facing in our country. But I would say everyone needs to look at the NASA document. You need to move from the illusion, the non-reality that you are living in. You need to move into a new reality formed by the truths that these documents convey. So that then from those realities, then you can look at solutions. You can't shoot from the hip and look for solutions if you have not learned who's doing this to us, how they're doing this to us, and the documents that tell us how they are doing this to us.
The Truman Show, which was designed to create a false reality for entertainment, the false reality we have now is designed to kill us. This is a war against the people. This is why that tabloid came out, Prepare to Die. And they're doing it in so many deliberate ways in which those documents show that it's been in the works for a long time. And you not only see the individuals, which can be kind of identified with the Bilderbergers and Trilats and Skull and Bones. They are in the saddle. They are the ones determining policy, the scientific advisor to the president of the John P. Holdren in charge of the chemtrails. We have MITRE with the former head of the CIA directing all these branches of government. We've got guys like Leon Panetta, which is the head of the CIA and the Department of Defense, moving our armies over to NATO and moving without a constitution. This is a direct war against us, and we see people dying like flies now. And like you said, it doesn't have fingerprints on it because of the methods that they're using, but it's as real as people getting strokes and cancer and autism and Alzheimer's. It's so clear. I mean, the stats, the mathematics prove the point. And so they have to know, people have to know what's going on and strategize to fight it. And they can, because the only way they're getting away with this is by the lies. And if you succumb to the mass media, the three networks, and the two wire services, you're never going to get out of it.
Well, it actually says in the document, in the NASA war document, that they will use mass media propaganda. That is prevalent.
Syndrome, is that?
Yeah, that's one of the things that they call it. But they're literally going through this document. Oh, they're going to also use explosive dust opportunities. They talk about how, the dust will infiltrate deeply into buried and other such targets. They're saying in here too, if you move, they can see you and you're dead. So the technology, sensors in everything. There is an amazing mission statement that I found on PSI technology out of the Carnegie Mellon Institute. And the mission statement stated that they were changing the global infrastructure to that of computers and technology, and that would include our entire structure, not only utilities, but civil, government policies. And what is also very interesting, we went to Al Gore's recent book review. He wrote a book called The Future, and he talks about how artificial intelligence is going to take over, and that we're going to see changes within the United States that have not been seen in 500 years. And he talks about how it's just not efficient to continue with humans. Same thing. These all tie in. They all tie in. We have a think tank that is plotting and scheming against humanity because they believe that it's too frail. And they also talk about let me pause for a second here. They talk about the U.S. Brain Project, and it begun in the 90s. They say that it was funded by 16 organizations across 5 agencies. NIH, which of course is the National Health Institute, the Department of Defense, NASA, and the Department of Energy. And they talk about how they have over 10,000 individual presentations at annual meetings for the Society for Neuroscience. And essentially, they have redesigned humanity. And there is a fascinating life story of a 4th generation clone called Michael Prince. And that is on our website under the NASA document link, and I urge everybody to listen to this interview with Michael Prince. He was killed in 2011, and he is a fourth-generation clone. The levels of technology, the length of time that they've had technologies are unbelievable. What they also say in the Iron Mountain documentary is that they will control the educational system, that they will replace the education system with computers. They're saying that in the NASA document too. Everything will be telecommuting, teleshopping, tele-entertainment, teletravel, teleeducation. This way they can rewrite history. Everything will be on Kindle, and it'll be very easy to change books, to change the language. Recently, I was listening to a weather report, and the reporter said it will be sunny tomorrow. But I'm calling sunshine now a soft sunshine, because the sun doesn't shine like it used to. I mean, that is what I'm saying. The reporter didn't say that. But the reporter now is saying a soft sunshine. They're rewriting our definition of what a sunny day is supposed to look like, because we're under the constant vellum of this secret, non-existent, atmospheric poisoning of our skies. So they're rewriting our vocabulary. They're rewriting everything about us. And they're keeping us so sick from the fluoride, from the aspartame in the food, all of the dyes and chemicals on everything. I mean, even the receipts that we get from filling our cars with gas are poisonous. We shouldn't be touching them. And so we need to navigate. I say that life on a daily basis is like trying to walk through a landmine field. And if you get to the other side at the end of the day, you've made good choices, because they've certainly put and placed landmines in our lives.
Yeah, it's hard to avoid, really. I mean,
the impact that it's having on our lives. We should be sitting here right now having this conversation because of what has been orchestrated against us. Our futures are being determined for us. Our lifespans are being decided upon.
it's fascinating information. So the best way to get access to all this is stopthecrime.net.
Stopthecrime.net. It links to our other websites as well, which is smartmetersmurder.com. We have invaluable YouTube videos up on smartmetersmurder.com. There's a series done by Barry, B-A-R-R-I-E, Trower, T-R-O-W-E-R, who is a scientist out of the UK, and talks about the weaponization of frequencies as it relates specifically to the wireless, and in particular the vast deployment throughout America and other countries as well of the cell phone towers. They're erupting everywhere, and they're disguising them as trees, they're disguising them in church steeples. Even when you drive through the desert, they're disguised into yuccas. And that is a cell phone tower. They're also, this is very interesting, they're putting them in mobile oil signs in gas stations, so you don't even see them. Now, when you look, if you're really aware of spotting cell phone towers, my grandchildren can spot them a mile away. But you can go to shopping centers where they have landscaping and the uplights amongst the landscaping, and you'll see many uplight standards that are disguised cell phone towers. And you don't think of it. You're just thinking that it's lights within the parking lot, and they're actual cell phone towers.
And they're in church steeples as well, aren't they?
Yes,
Yeah.
yes they are. And they're paying schools to put them on their campuses. Right now, there's a newly discovered cancer cluster at San Diego State University, and there have been a number of students and faculty that have gotten brain tumors. So we are in a takedown of frequencies admitted by this document. We have the proof, we have the military, the agencies that admit to this, we don't need to prove the deaths on the campuses near towers, because it says towers will be used on page 98. It says that towers will be used to emit frequencies. So again, this is their document. This is what they tell us on page 98. A typical scenario: takedown of the U.S. by 10 people and $10 million. Binary biologicals, imported vitamins and clothing, the food supply will be poisoned. Terror attacks with vaccines and with viruses. They talk about our railroads will be attacked. Selective anti-personnel with radiation frequencies, microwaves from the towers. The water supply will be contaminated via intercontinental unmanned vehicles, accompanied by serious psy-war, and that's the CNN syndrome. So they're telling us here how easy it would be to take down the United States with these new technologies. We've got to expose this.
Thanks so much for all this information, Deborah Tavares, and we will check out your website and try to make this go viral and get it out there. Thanks a lot.
Thank you so much.
Fuck it, we got like 60-something people on here, so I got to keep it going, because the main things that we all need to understand is that we are so far behind on what these people have been able to figure out, how they're able to do whatever it is to us. Not only just the English language, because that language, they made it. They made the language. But it's the technologies now. And every one of us are the ones that are being their police officers or their military to be able to make sure that all of these things end up happening to all of us. That's why they don't want us speaking to the police officers or the military that is our family members that want to act like what Lori was just saying. I think that's who said something just now a little bit ago, saying her son doesn't want to hear none of this stuff. Lots of people don't want to hear none of this stuff because they're fucking stupid. And let them know how fucking stupid they are, because basically what's going on is we're all going to suffer because no one wants to talk about the shit, because the people that control the money control what we can or can't say to each other, because they control the businesses and the corporations that are paying the people's checks to put everyone in checkmate. That's why they tell motherfuckers, that's why you'll hear certain people, and you'll have people on here, because there's this many people on here right now, 70-something people, right? You'll have certain people, I don't know if, and I don't know, maybe you guys are a little bit, hopefully all of y'all are really more intelligent than the average fucking bear. But they'll be thinking that these conspiracies are just weird and crazy, and they don't want to admit that they can even see the shit when they know they can see it. Lori says, my son doesn't think she is credible. You couldn't get anyone more knowledgeable than Deborah Tavares. I know. And you know what? I'm going to tell you this too. Even because I think they're all part of the plan. I really do. I think they're all a part of the plan. Any of them that are allowed to get a certain amount of views or whatever, I think they're all part of the plan of just getting us prepped and ready for the ones that are starting to speak about whatever, so that the ones, because they feel that we're stupid. They really do. And she might even be one of the ones that's like feeling like we're really stupid and doing it with them. I don't know. I love her to death. She hopefully I'm wrong. But I feel like Mark Passio, I feel like he still works for them too. I think they're all, if we're hearing the information, it's because they want us to hear it. It's because they want us to get shaped into whatever the reality is, because it's the same thing that they've done with the Bible. It tells you in the Bible what the plans are, so that everyone thinks that it's being prophesized, as it's always been the plans to take over the world anyways. And these people are already 1,400 years in advance, at least with the language, by passing down and handing down all of the knowledge to their generations of their family members, while they keep us at these small, weak, docile minds that always constantly moving around, worried about what everyone's thinking about us, worrying about getting the money, worrying about getting to the jobs, worrying about having a relationship, worrying about who likes us or who doesn't. But as long as you got a bunch of masters' money that they never teach us about, who remembers them teaching us about the money? Remember, because everyone's had to have done this. Like, I remember when I was growing up, like, who pays the TV people? How do they get the money? How do they get the job and get this and make all this money being on TV and a sports fan thing? Happy single here. Me too, man. Single is the best. And they've made it the best thing now. You don't want to put up with no dumbass fucking people's because the women, I'm not even going to get on that shit right now. But anyways, it's a rigged, fucked up system. And without titties and ass, you better have cash. Because if not, you ain't worth shit, slave. But if you do got titties and ass, you're worth all kinds, slave. And they're loving it right now. Girls enjoy it. Enjoy it while you can. Because minimum wage, when it becomes cashless digital currency, and you've been pumped up to sell that WAP and all these men wanting you and everything else, they're going to get rid of a bunch of motherfuckers. And you know who they're going to keep? The ones they always keep. The youngsters and the women and the children, the ones that are worth them being able to feel that they want to have somebody come and sit on their lap, one of the boys or the girls. Does anyone ever wonder, like, why did you need an old fat white man or an old fat white man with a beard sitting in a red and white fucking suit, having all these young boys and girls come and sit on the lap and ask for these material gifts that they've wanted? Huh? To psychologically manipulate someone to always think of the lap and the man and the gifts. It's to get everybody ready for the lap dance. You see how you got boys out here now wanting to be girls, ready to suck and fuck a dick? You see it? And proud wanting to suck and fuck a dick. Proud WAP. Or no, we wouldn't call those ones WAP. We'll call them WAB. Wet ass booty. By the ball, the bowel. And it's a perpetual lie from generation to generation. What the fuck was wrong with me? Ain't nothing wrong with you, Trisha. Oh, or you're talking about, yeah, what was wrong with me, as in the women and everything. Yeah, and I feel terrible for the women. I know I sound like an asshole, and I sound like a woman hater. I'm not. My mom, I love my mom to death, and I hate what happened to her life. I love my aunts, I hate what happened to their lives. I love my people's people and their aunts and their mothers, and I hate what happened to their lives. I hate that people's lives have been stolen by fake printed pieces of paper and lies of everything, just lies. Everything's lies to manipulate everyone to become everything you're supposed to. Spell devil backwards, lived. Evil backwards, live. Raw backwards, war. Law backwards, wall. WAP backwards, Paul. They want our babies. News agencies get paid from certain government agencies that have ties to people that want everything. James Stewart, I love you. They're all connected, all together, all the way from the beginning. It had to look like it's just regular average men trying to take over whatever. But when you go and you look into the presidents, All of them was related except for one. It was on the news for everyone that doesn't want to believe anything except whatever the fuck is the lies on the news. North, east, west, south. That's why the news is what it is. North, east, west, south. Just the same thing as the compass of the cross. And the cross is just a little bit longer because it makes the box to put the mind of the people in. Proud to fucking suck a dick. Yeah, they are. They've made the women proud. They're proud whores now. They'll go, yeah, how many motherfuckers you seen up and down your damn timeline talking about I'm Santa's favorite ho ho ho. And then if you go and you try and tell them anything about what they're doing, they've already got songs that done back this shit up. Songs that backed it up, like you just mad because you don't got this wet ass pussy. You mad because you can't sell your wet ass pussy. Get a wop, guap, guap, get bucket and a mop, mop, mop. You just mad. You mad because, oh, she trying to get her nails done like me? Oh, that bitch better not be trying to get her nails done like me. No, she didn't. Oh, she got the same kind of car and the same kind of steering wheel cover? Oh, hell no. Fuck that bitch. Oh, that bitch trying to be just like me. Oh, no, she didn't just get her hair dyed just like I did. No, she didn't just twerk the same way that I just did. No, she didn't just get the same used tire from the same used tire shop that I did. That bitch trying to be just like me. I'm self-made. Self-made. No, you ain't. They're just like you. And you say that you're different. I swear if you go up and down your timeline, it'll be exactly the same. I promise. I bet they're chasing the same thing you are. No, they're not. What are you chasing? The bag. I'm securing the bag. So you've been bodied. Fuck you, you just hating, you just mad, you just mad, you just mad because I got this ass over here. Do you got a fucking brain? No, it wouldn't work on you then. Are your children going to follow your footsteps? Do you think that this might be the generation where we could possibly go cashless digital currency and now your children have watched you in the mirror acting like the hoe that you've made sure that you let them know it's okay to be? Six corporations own all media, and they're all in on it. To television, the paid program. Yeah, most definitely. Most definitely. All my life, my mama was right, and I'm happy I was raised right. Ooh, you go, Shannon. Good, 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 good. Because, you know, it's very hard for anyone, especially when they break down the function of the family home and then they make the welfare and then they make the divorce things. And like if you're printing pieces of paper out of thin air, okay? And you've got everyone tricked into believing your bullshit because you've taught them the ABCs to be alphabet boys and girls so that they could be A, B, C, D, E, F. Because the G, the Masons, hi, H, I, J, K, just kidding. No, I'm not. Let me. No. It's perfect. Something's going on with that. Write down the ABCs. A, B, C, D, E, F, G. H, I, J, K, L, M, N, O. Write those down. And look what you see right there. It's like A, B, C, Def, G for the Masons, and God and everything that everyone. In God we trust. You spell God backwards, it's dog. You spell devil backwards, it's lived. Everyone's like, don't be blasphemy on God. Shut the fuck up. Spell believe. There's lie and believe. Spell belief. There's lie and belief. Spell these things forward and backwards, okay? Okay? And then you'll see for yourself that these people are using witchcraft on us. Justin, don't watch. I hope you find help. Don't watch, brother. I hope you find help. What you got? What you got, a gangster mask? What? I hope you find help. Go check out the Silent Weapons for Quiet Wars and listen to where they talk about making men pussy whipped so that the women can run this shit. Or make sure you listen to the part real well because it sounds like you probably one of them motherfuckers if you're trolling. Talking about educate the masses at a 6th grade maximum mindset from the entertainment. I love you, Andre. I do this for all of us, brother. That's why most people act like teenage kids. I'm glad I don't see Cody in here. No, Cody's cool. I love Cody. I fuck with Cody. We'll get him there. We'll get him there. Choose love over fear. Don't let these draconian overlords dictate us, fam, all day. Peace and love all day. I do this for him. I do this for every one of us. I'm worried about my children. I'm worried about all of our children. I know what's going on. I see it. They only allowed the slaves to read and write a few hundred years ago. And the first thing that they was allowed to read was a Bible. So that they would buy bullshit. Buy the bull. That's why they all do this. So they can let everyone know that they're the ones doing it. Cody is good because you have to see the other side to research all avenues. Most definitely. We love Cody. I fuck with Cody. And when I say certain things, it's just to get under people's skin sometimes. Because I know that the only ways that I was ever able to look into any of the things that I looked into was because something got under my skin. My brother dying. My brother dying. So with my brother dying, and that was my biggest fan right there, man. I had a lot of fans. I have a lot of people that looked up to me for being the person that I was in my neighborhood. But him, though. That's what did it, man. And I love that motherfucker, man. And he had a rough life. So, you know, and I was there, I seen it. He had open heart surgery, had water on the brain. He looked different. People treated him different. We even treated him different, like fucking piece of shits when I was young. But I ain't know no better. Because we was indoctrinated by the damn cartoons and everything, man. So he didn't look like the rest of us, and he looked a little different. So we, even as kids, as us, we treated him different, like a fucking jackass. He's strong. And he's so strong, though. And he didn't have no girlfriends. He had one girlfriend his whole life. He had sex one time. Because of this fucked up world, the way people fucking think. And he deserved everything. He deserved way more than the fuck he ever got. I changed my whole life after that shit, man. And that's what I wanted to know. I wanted to know where the drugs came from. Even though before I kind of knew that the government brought them in, but I was making money off that shit, man. So you give yourself all the excuses in the world when you're a dope man. Especially when you're getting all the attention that you never fucking had before because you never knew no better. And I didn't know nothing about nothing like that. I just was streets, period. You get big ego, you just don't give a fuck. Oh, I know I ain't lost my mind. I'm a strong motherfucker, that's all. It takes a strong motherfucker to even go down this rabbit hole. For real. People are too soft. Soft-ass little bitches. Oh, I don't want nobody thinking and talking about me like that. Oh, God, look. Tandra went nuts. Look. Fucking weirdos. Why does it work that good then? Why does it work that good? Why do you curse? Because I can. Because I'm 44 years old and I grew up in a spot where I got to trash mouth. Some people that don't like this cussing probably shouldn't watch me, but go turn on your television and watch whatever makes you comfortable about the ways, whatever they curse about. You don't have to watch me. I don't get paid for this. I don't get paid for this. I don't work for Satan Master's money to go ahead and fucking baby and fucking pamper every fucking buddy. And I'm not going to pamper you. So if you want pampered, you're in the wrong spot. And if you want to talk about Jesus and all this ink Bible shit, you're in the wrong fucking spot. And if you can't hear cussing at a grown adult age, you're in the wrong spot. Because I'm pissed about this shit. I'm not no little stupid, soft-ass motherfucker that everyone's going to shape and mold me to be every fucking thing that they fucking want me to be. So you might be in the wrong spot. Why does everybody talk about drugs? Holly Lasco, you on drugs, bitch? The fuck I look like doing drugs? I'm getting ready to smoke some weed. You up my ass too, motherfucker? I'm breaking up some goddamn weed. You want to see it? You want to see it, detective? The fuck? You know who brings any of these drugs in our areas and environments and pushes and pumps up the motherfucking music and everything for all of us to be against each other the certain ways that we are? Shut up. Sourpuss. Yeah, I know. I'm a sourpuss. What a sourpuss. Shut up, bitch. Keep being the bitch you are. Were you trolling? You trolling, Caroline? Fucking here we got the trolls in here. Oh God. We done brought the kindergartners in, guys. Here comes the your mama jokes. Oh shit. The your mama jokes. They're so original. What do you do all day? I sit on the internet and troll all day and try and find people to clown and fucking talk shit to because I ain't got shit else better to do. And what do you say a lot? Well, a lot of it's about like you're methed up or you live in a trailer park or can you fit something between someone's gap or how fat are they? You know, we're just trying to really fuck people's lives up. We ain't trying to do nothing really special. We are too special to even be trying to do anything that special. Why don't you make a good troll group? Make a good troll group, you dumb bitches. Because I've only seen the dumb bitches talking shit right now. I can't stand the way this world really is set up, where you can have a bunch of kitty-ass, ignorant motherfuckers on the internet talking a bunch of dumb-ass shit like fucking little fucking sixth graders and shit. Look what I can do. I can say they're on drugs, and everyone can say the same thing with me. Well, I don't even know where the fuck the drugs came from. Wow, you're probably over there doing the drugs. Can you fix the gap in your teeth? Yeah. You act like you're gonna hurt my feelings or something. Could you talk that shit in my face? I bet you couldn't. I bet all you motherfuckers sit behind a screen and talk shit. I'm on the screen, bitch. You guys got fake fucking profile pictures and everything. How real are you? Shut up. No, he didn't. Oh, no, he didn't. Man, this motherfucker done sold me some fucking stale ass swishers. Damn. You know, when these trolls run into a motherfucker like me, it's weird for them. Because I can turn the fuck up too, because I come from this dumb shit. But I got a brain. And theirs is all the same. So you'll see them come in, you'll see them talk a bunch of shit for a minute, and then I'll shut them down like, woo, 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 woo. And then they all start dropping down and it starts going blue, 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 blue. They're like, oh, don't go back in that nigga's fucking Facebook profile at all. That nigga's, he's crazy. Yeah, that's what we'll say. Hey, everyone, he's too crazy. Don't go over there. He's crazy. He ain't gonna listen anyways. He's lost in the sauce. And bitch, you know what it is. You can't hang. I hate that when I got a dry roll. I know, right? I'm gonna crack that bitch all up, but you know. Mary Jane. Must be cyborg practice. Ask them what the hell are they doing on your page. They know what they're doing here. They're looking at this pretty face. Like Jesus will be shutting you down soon. Yeah, I know. You are so behind. Nika used to be, but not no more. Agenda 21 NWO canceled. Oh, I'm behind? Oh, am I? I know. Look, I got to put headlines on here that like young adults or young childish minds can maybe try and, I don't know, comprehend. Dude, why are you so angry? I don't know. Because I'm smarter than a 5th grader, probably. It's hard when you're smarter than a 5th grader. You need to shut them drugs down and dig deeper. Sarah Breeze, shut up. There you go. What do you do every day, Sarah Breeze? You know what you do. It looks like you're a troll. I seen a ghost when I was a kid. Oh, yeah? Oh. God made the herb. It's even kosher. Oh, okay. I still want to talk to you. I love you, sis. Because I've seen something about Agenda 21. What's happening? Okay, exactly. Well, a lot of people don't know about none of these agendas. A lot of people don't know about Project Mockingbird or Project Fishbowl or any of the things that are really being done to the people, the silent weapons for quiet wars, you know. A lot of people don't know about these things. And they'd rather not because they'd be like, oh my God, conspiracies. Oh, he must be on drugs. Uh-oh. Why? Because you're dumb as fuck and you can't comprehend certain things that are really going on in your face. Pretty much. They'd rather be stupid ass, big grown ass. Like how old do you guys think that trolls are? How old do you think that grown adults get on the internet and talk a bunch of kid shit? How old are they? That's why they say the same dumbass shit over and over. It's going to all come out, brother. Oh, I already know, brother. I love you, man. So none of my friends do, and they don't want to know. Baby boomers are the worst. There's motherfucking grown-ass 50-year-old motherfuckers trolling, 60-year-old motherfuckers trolling. And even at 30 years old, I think it's kind of fucking super childish. Seriously, like, don't you got something better to do? Seriously. No. Why? This is so fun. This is so fucking fun. Too many in the UK won't accept the reality of what's going on. A lot of people won't. They're a bunch of big babies. Big child minds. Big child mind. As a matter of fact, we have 115 people here. Let's hope that they can stay here. I'm going to go ahead and pull up like the end version of this Silent Weapons for Quiet Wars. This is a government document. talking about certain things. Watch how many motherfucking stupid motherfuckers are in here that drop away. So there's 118. So let's see what the percentage of ignorance is in this live feed right here, if it lets us.
Other commodities. The objective of such studies is to acquire the know-how to set the public economy into a predictable state of motion or change, even a controlled self-destructive state of motion which will convince the public that certain expert people should take control of the money system and reestablish security rather than liberty and justice for all. When the subject citizens are rendered unable to control their financial affairs, they of course become totally enslaved and a source of cheap labor. Not only the prices of commodities, but also the availability of labor can be used as the means of shock testing. Labor strikes deliver excellent tests. Shock to an economy, especially in the critical service areas of trucking and transportation, communication, public utilities, energy, water, garbage collection, etc. By shock testing, it is found that there is a direct relationship between the availability of money flowing in an economy and the real psychological outlook and response of masses of people dependent upon that availability. For example, there is a measurable quantitative relationship between the price of gasoline and the probability that a person would experience a headache, feel a need to watch a violent movie, smoke a cigarette, or go to a tavern for a mug of beer. It is most interesting that by observing and measuring the economic models by which the public tries to run from their problems and escape from reality, and by applying the mathematical theory of operations research, it is possible to program computers to predict the most probable combination of created events or shocks, which will bring about a complete control and subjugation of the public through a subversion of the public economy by shaking the plum tree. Okay, we're going to scroll through some more of the technical data here, and once again, pause the video if you want to read any of it. This is the result into which we substitute to get that set of conditions of prices of commodities, bad news on TV, etc., which will deliver a collapse of public morale ripe for takeover. Once the economic price and sales coefficients are determined, they may be translated into technical supply and demand coefficients. Shock testing of a given commodity is then repeated to get the time rate of change of these technical coefficients. Introduction to economic amplifiers. Economic amplifiers are the active components of economic engineering. The basic characteristics of any amplifier, mechanical, electrical, or economic, is that it receives an input control signal and delivers energy from an independent energy source to a specified output terminal in a predictable relationship to that input control signal. The simplest form of an economic amplifier is a device called advertising. If a person is spoken to by a TV advertiser as if he were 12 years old, then due to suggestibility, he will, with a certain probability, respond or react to that suggestion with the uncritical response of a 12-year-old and will reach into his economic reservoir and deliver its energy to put that product on impulse when he passes it in the store. An economic amplifier may have several inputs and output. Its response might be instantaneous or delayed. Its circuit symbol might be a rotary switch if its options are exclusive, qualitative, go or no-go, or it might have its parametric input-output relationships specified by a matrix with internal energy sources represented. Whatever its form might be, its purpose is to govern the flow of energy from a source to an output sink in direct relationship to an input control signal. For this reason, it is called an active circuit element or component. Economic amplifiers fall into classes called strategies, and in comparison with electronic amplifiers, the specific internal functions of an economic amplifier are called logistical instead of electrical. Therefore, economic amplifiers not only deliver power gain, but also in effect are used to cause changes in the economic circuitry. In the design of an economic amplifier, we must have some idea of at least 5 functions, which are the available input signals, the desired output control objectives, the strategic objective, the available economic power sources, the logistical options. The process of defining and evaluating these factors and incorporating the economic amplifier into an economic system has been popularly called game theory. The design of an economic amplifier begins with a specification of the power level of the output, which can range from personal to national. The second condition is accuracy of response. Example, how accurately the output action is a function of the input commands. High gain combined with strong feedback helps to deliver the required precision. Most of the error will be the input data signal. Personal input data tends to be specified, while national input data tends to be statistical. A short list of inputs. Questions to be answered. What, where, why, when, how, and who. General sources of information: telephone taps, analysis of garbage, surveillance, behavior of children in school, standard of living by, food, shelter, clothing, transportation, social contacts, telephone itemized record of calls, family, marriage certificates, birth certificates, etc., friends, associates, etc., memberships in organizations, political affiliation. The personal paper trail. Personal buying habits, personal consumer preferences, checking accounts, credit card purchases, tagged credit card purchases, the credit card purchase of products bearing the UPC code, assets, checking accounts, savings accounts, real estate, business, automobile, safety deposit at the bank, stock market, liabilities, creditors, enemies, loans, government sources, welfare, Social Security, USDA, surplus food, doles, grants, subsidies, government sources via intimidation, Internal Revenue Service, OSHA, Census, etc., other government sources, surveillance of U.S. mail, habits, patterns, programming, strengths and weaknesses, activities, sports, hobbies, see legal fear, anger, crime record, hospital records, drug sensitivities, reaction to pain, psychiatric records, fears, angers, disgust, adaptability, reactions to stimuli, violence, suggestibility or hypnosis, pain, pleasure, love, and sex, methods of coping of adaptability and behavior, consumption.
You know what? My apologies. Because whoever's the 117 that's here right now, the people that are commenting and the things that you are, thank you so much. I appreciate you. You make me feel so much better about trying to have some type of hope in the world, because the only hope that I have is for people. I don't have hope for ink, paper, rich man's made story. I have hope for us being able to start listening to each other and speaking out. So thank you. I love you. You guys are doing amazing. I love you.
Of alcohol, consumption of drugs, entertainment, religious factors influencing behavior, other methods of escaping from reality, payments, pay on time, payment of telephone bills, energy purchases, water purchases, repayment of loans, house payments, automobile payments, payments on credit cards, the political sensitivity, beliefs, contacts, positions, strengths, weaknesses, projects, activities, legal inputs, behavior control, excuses for investigation, search, arrest, or employment of force to modify behavior, court records, police records, driving record, reports made to police, insurance information, anti-establishment acquaintances, national input information, business sources via the IRS, prices of commodities, sales, investments in, stocks, inventory, production tools and machinery, buildings and improvements, the stock market, banks and credit bureaus, credit information, payment information, miscellaneous sources, polls and surveys, publications, telephone records, energy and utility purchases, and short list of outputs. Outputs create controlled situations, manipulation of the economy, hence society, control by control of compensation and income. Sequence allocates opportunities, destroys opportunities, controls the economic environment, controls the availability of raw materials, controls capital, controls bank rates, controls the inflations of the currency, controls the possession of property, controls industrial capacity, controls manufacturing, controls the availability of goods or commodities, controls the prices of commodities, controls services, the labor force, etc., controls payments to government officials, controls the legal functions, controls the personal data files, uncorrectable by the party slandered, controls advertising, controls media contact, controls material available for TV viewing, disengages attention from real issues, engages emotions, creates disorder, chaos, and insanity, controls design and more probing tax forms, controls surveillance, controls the storage of information, develops psychological analysis and profiles of individuals, controls legal functions, controls sociological factors, controls health options, preys on weakness, cripples strengths, leeches wealth and substance. A table of strategies. If you do this, you get this. Keep the public ignorant. Less public organization. Maintain access to control prices, points for feedback, required reaction to output sales, create preoccupation, lowers defenses, attacks the family unit, young, control of the education, give less cash and more data, credit and doles, more self-indulgent and more, attack the privacy of the church, destroys faith in the sort of government. Social conformity, computer programming simplicity, minimize the tax program, protest, maximize economic data minimum, enforcement problems, stabilize the consent, simplicity coefficients, tighten control of variables, simpler computer input data, greater predictability, establish boundary conditions, equations, problem simplicity, solutions of differential indifference, proper timing, less data shift and blurring, maximum control, minimum resistance to control, collapse of currency, destroy the faith of the American people in each other. Diversion, the primary strategy. Experience has proven that the simplest method of securing a silent weapon and gaining control of the public is to keep the public undisciplined and ignorant of the basic system principles on the one hand, while keeping them confused, disorganized, and distracted with matters of no real importance on the other hand. This is achieved by disengaging their minds, sabotaging their mental activities, providing a low-quality program of public education in mathematics, logic systems, design, and economics, and discouraging technical creativity, engaging their emotions, increasing their self-indulgence and their indulgence in emotional and physical activities by unrelenting emotional affrontations and attacks, mental and emotional rape by way of constant barrage of sex, violence, and wars in the media, especially the TV and the newspaper, giving them what they desire in excess, junk food for thought, and depriving them of what they really need, rewriting history and law, subjecting the public to the deviant creation, thus being able to shift their thinking from personal needs to highly fabricated outside priorities. These preclude their interest in and discovery of the silent weapons of social automation technology. The general rule is that there is a profit in confusion. The more confusion, the more profit. Therefore, the best approach is to create problems and then offer solutions. Diversion summary. Media. Keep the adult public attention diverted away from the real issues, social issues, and captivated by matters of no real importance. Schools. Keep the young public ignorant of real mathematics, real economics, real law, and real history. Entertainment. Keep the public entertainment below a 6th grade level. Work. Keep the public busy with no time to think. Back on the farm with the other animals. Consent. The primary victory. A silent weapon system operates upon data obtained from a docile public by legal, but not always lawful force. Much information is made available to silent weapon system programmers through the Internal Revenue Service. See Studies in Structure of the American Economy for an IRS source list. This information consists of the enforced delivery of well-organized data contained in federal and tax state forms, collected, assembled, and submitted by slave labor provided by taxpayers and employers. Furthermore, the number of such forms submitted to the IRS is a useful indicator of public consent, an important factor in strategic decision-making. Other data sources are given in the short list of inputs. Consent coefficients, numerical feedback indicating victory status, psychological basis. When the government is able to collect tax and seize private property without just compensation, it is an indication that the public is ripe for surrender and is consenting to enslavement and legal encroachment. A good and easily quantified indicator of harvest time is the number of public citizens who pay income tax despite an obvious lack of reciprocal or honest service from the government. Amplification energy sources. The next step in the process of designing an economic amplifier is discovering the energy sources. The energy source which support any primitive economic system are, of course, a supply of raw materials and the consent of the people to labor, and consequently assume a certain rank, position, level, or class in the social structure to provide labor at various levels in the pecking order. Each class, in guaranteeing its own level of income, controls the class immediately below it, hence preserves the class structure. This provides stability and security, but also government from the top. As time goes on and communication and education improve, the lower class elements of the social labor structure become knowledgeable and envious of the good things that the upper class members have. They also begin to attain a knowledge of energy systems and the ability to enforce their rise through the class structure. This threatens the sovereignty of the elite. If this rise of the lower class can be postponed long enough, the elite can achieve energy dominance, and labor by consent no longer will hold a position of an essential energy source. Until such energy dominance is absolutely established, the consent of people to labor and let others handle their affairs must be taken into consideration, since failure to do so could cause the people to interfere in the final transfer of energy sources to the control of the elite. It is essential to recognize that at this time, public consent is still an essential key to the release of energy in the process of economic amplification. Therefore, the consent as energy release mechanism will now be considered. Logistics. The successful application of a strategy requires a careful study of inputs, outputs, the strategy connecting the inputs and outputs, and the available energy sources to fuel the strategy. This study is called logistics. A logistical problem is studied at the elementary level first, and then levels of greater complexity are studied as a synthesis of elementary factors. This means that a given system is analyzed, i.e. broken down into subsystems, and these in turn are analyzed until by this process one arrives at the logistical atom, the individual. This is where the process of synthesis properly begins at the time of birth of the individual. The artificial womb. From the time a person leaves its mother's womb, its every effort is directed towards building, maintaining, and withdrawing into artificial wombs various sorts of substitute protective devices of shells. The objective of these artificial wombs is to provide a stable environment for both stable and unstable activity, to provide a shelter for the evolutionary process of growth and maturity, example survival, to provide security for freedom, and to provide defensive protection for offensive activity. This is equally true of both the general public and the elite. However, there is a definite difference in the way each of these classes go about the solution of problems. The political structure of a nation, dependency. The primary reason why the individual citizens of a country create a political structure is a subconscious wish or desire to perpetuate their own dependency relationship of childhood. Simply put, they want a human god to eliminate all risks from their life, pat them on the head and kiss their bruises, put a chicken on every dinner table, clothe their bodies, tuck them into bed at night, and tell them that everything will be all right when they wake up in the morning. This public demand is incredible, so the human god, the politician, meets incredibility with incredibility by promising the world and delivering nothing. So who is the bigger liar, the public or the godfather? This public behavior is surrender born of fear, laziness, and expediency. It is the basis of the welfare state as a strategic weapon useful against a disgusting public. Action, offense. Most people want to be able to subdue and or kill other human beings which disturb their daily lives, but they do not want to have to cope with the moral and religious issues which such an overt act on their part might raise. Therefore, they assign the dirty work to others, including their own children, so as to keep the blood off their hands. They rave about the humane treatment of animals and then sit down to a delicious hamburger from a whitewashed slaughterhouse down the street and out of sight. But even more hypocritical, they pay taxes to finance a professional association of hitmen, collectively called politicians, and then complain about corruption in government. Responsibility. Again, most people want to be free to do things, to explore, etc., but they're afraid to fail. The fear of failure is manifested in irresponsibility, and especially in delegating those personal responsibilities to others where success is uncertain or carries possible or created liabilities, which the person is not prepared to accept. They want authority, root word author, but they will not accept responsibility or liability, so they hire politicians to face reality for them. Summary. The people hire the politicians so that the people can obtain security without managing it, obtain action without thinking about it, inflict theft, injury, and death upon others without having to contemplate either life or death, avoid responsibility for their own intentions, obtain the benefits of reality and science without exerting themselves in the discipline of facing or learning either of these things. They give the politicians the power to create and manage a war machine, to provide for the survival of the nation or womb, prevent encroachment of anything upon the nation or womb, destroy the enemy who threatens the nation or womb, destroy those citizens of their country who do not conform for the sake of stability of the nation or womb. Politicians hold many quasi-military jobs, the lowest being the police, which are soldiers, the attorneys and CPAs next, who are spies and saboteurs licensed, and the judges who shout out orders and run the closed union military shop for whatever the market will bear. The generals are industrialists. The presidential level of commander-in-chief is shared by the international bankers. The people know that they have created this farce and financed it with their own taxes, given consent, but they would rather knuckle under than be the hypocrite. Thus, a nation becomes divided into two very distinct parts: a docile subnation, a great silent majority, and a political subnation. The political subnation remains attached to the docile subnation, tolerates it, and leaches its substance until it grows strong enough to detach itself and then devour its parent. System analysis. In order to make meaningful computerized economic decisions about war, the primary economic flywheel, it is necessary to assign concrete logistical values to each element of the war structure, personal and material alike. This process begins with a clear and candid description of the subsystems of such a structure. The draft as a military service. Few efforts of human behavior modification are more remarkable or more effective than that of the socio-military institution known as the draft. A primary purpose of a draft or other such institution is to instill by intimidation in the young males of a society the uncritical conviction that the government is omnipotent. He is soon taught that a prayer is slow to reverse what a bullet can do in an instance. Thus, a man trained in a religious environment for 18 years of his life can, by this instrument of the government, be broken down, be purged of his fantasies and delusions in a matter of mere months. Once that conviction is instilled, all else becomes easy to instill. Even more interesting is the process by which a young man's parents, who perpetually love him, can be induced to send him off to war for his death. Although the scope of this work will not allow this matter to be expanded in full detail, nevertheless a coarse overview will be possible and can serve to reveal those factors which must be included in some numerical form in a computer analysis of social and war systems. We begin with a tentative definition of the draft. The draft, or selective service, is an institution of compulsory collective sacrifice and slavery devised by the middle-aged and elderly for the purpose of pressing the young into doing the public dirty work. It further serves to make the youth as guilty as the elders, thus making criticism of the elders by the youth less likely. Generational stabilizer. It is marketed and sold to the public under the label of patriotic national service. Once a candid economic definition of the draft is achieved, that definition is used to outline the boundaries of a structure called a human value system, which which in turn is translated into the terms of game theory. The value of such a slave laborer is given the table of a human value, a table broken down into categories by intellect, experience, post-service, job demand, etc. Some of these categories are ordinary and can be tentatively evaluated in terms of the value of certain jobs for which a known fee exists. Some jobs are harder to value because they are unique to the demands of social subversion. For an extreme example, the value of a mother's instruction to her daughter, causing that daughter to put certain behavioral demands upon a future husband 10 or 15 years hence. Thus, by suppressing his resistance to a perversion of a government, making it easier for a banking cartel to buy the state of New York in, say, 20 years. Such a problem leans heavily upon the observations and data of wartime espionage and many types of psychological testing. The crude mathematical models, algorithms, can be devised, if not to predict, at least to predeterminate these events with maximum certainty. What does not exist by natural cooperation is thus enhanced by calculated compulsion. Human beings are machines, levers which may be grasped and turned, and there is little real difference between the automating of a society and automating a shoe factory. These derived values are variable. It is necessary to use a current table of human values for computer analysis. These values are given in true measures rather than US dollars, since the latter is unstable, being presently inflated beyond the production of national goods and services so as to give the economy a false kinetic energy, paper inductance. The silver value is stable, it being possible to buy the same amount with a gram of silver today as it could be bought in 1920. Human value measured in silver units changes slightly due to the change in production technology. Enforcement. Factor 1. As in every social system approach, stability is achieved only by understanding and accounting for human nature, action-reaction patterns. A failure to do so can be, and it usually is, disastrous. As in other human social schemes, one form or another of intimidation or incentive is essential to the success of the draft. Physical principles of action and reaction must be applied to both internal and external subsystems. To secure the draft, individual brainwashing or programming in both the family unit and the peer group must be engaged and brought under control. Factor 2. Father. The man of the household must be housebroken to ensure that Junior will grow up with the right social training and attitudes. The advertising media, etc. are engaged to see to it that that father-to-be is pussy-whipped before or by the time he is married. He is taught that either he conforms to the social notch cut out for him or his sex life will be hobbled and his tender companionship will be zero. He is made to see that women demand security more than logical, principled, or honorable behavior. By the time his son must go to war, father with jelly for a backbone will slam a gun into Junior's hand before father will risk the censor of his peers or make a hypocrite of himself by crossing the investment he has in his own personal opinion or self-esteem. Junior will go off to war or father will be embarrassed, so Junior will go to war, the true purpose notwithstanding. Factor 3. Mother. The female element of human society is ruled by emotion first and logic second. In the battle between logic and imagination, imagination always wins. Fantasy prevails, maternal instinct dominates so that the child comes first and the future comes second. A woman with a newborn baby is too starry-eyed to see a wealthy man's cannon fodder or a cheap source of slave labor. A woman must, however, be conditioned to accept the transition to reality when it comes, or sooner. As the transition becomes more difficult to manage, the family unit must be carefully disintegrated, and state-controlled public education and state-operated child care centers must become more common and legally enforced so as to begin the detachment of the child from the mother and father at an earlier age. Inoculation of behavioral drugs, Ritalin, can speed the transition for the child. Mandatory. Caution. A woman's impulsive anger can override her fear. An irate woman's power must never be underestimated, and her power over a pussy-whipped husband must likewise never be underestimated. It got a woman the vote in 1920. Factor 4. Junior. The emotional pressure for self-preservation during the time of war and the self-serving attitude of the common herd that have an option to avoid the battlefield, if Junior can be persuaded to go, is all the pressure finally necessary to propel Johnny off to war. Their quiet blackmailings of him are the threats. No sacrifice, no friends, no glory, no girlfriends. Factor 5. The sister. And what about Junior's sister? She is given all the good things of life by her father and taught to expect the same from her future husband regardless of the price. Factor 6. Cattle. Those who will not use their brains are no better off than those who have no brains. And so this mindless school of jellyfish, father, mother, son, and daughter, become useful beasts of burden or trainers of the same. This concludes what is available in this document. If you've made it this far, I want to thank you very much for taking the time to listen, and I would highly encourage you to visit www.stopthecrime.net. That's where this document came from, and I will include links below in the description. And thank you very much again for listening. And get this out to your friends and family. Tell them about stopthecrime.net. Show them the article. You can download it from there.
You know, when you see what's going on in the world and you want to try and figure it out, you don't stop. You can't stop. It's like...
Listen, it's shocking.
Even though...
It's written about in the book of Revelation. Could it ever happen?
You know, a lot of people, they'll think that, I don't know, that people that are really fucked, that are looking into the conspiracies, that something's really wrong with them or something. It becomes kind of exciting. It becomes your life now, because all of these things that fit together so perfect, there's no way that it's not real. So whoever is constructing this, and then you think about it, and you know the ways that they've educated us, because you think about the education, like what's going on in the education systems? Nothing. They're teaching you lies about history, about other things and shit like that. They're telling you how to add up math. They're not telling you anything about life. They're not teaching you how to get along with each other. They're not teaching you what to do with each other. They're not teaching you about how to advance in life like that. You can see our oppressors are brilliant. Have to give them that. Well, they've handed down knowledge from a long time ago. They've handed down knowledge from a long time ago to all of their ancestors. You know, and as long as, and this is what you can think about. If you leave your business just in this small time frame that you have here, you're just going to hand down your information to your family members in the business that is your business. And you don't want to let no one else outside of your business know anything about what's going on inside of yours, because you're worried about them trying to take your business from you or something like that. So they're doing this on a very large scale. They're doing it on a large scale where they're printing the money, so they're paying everyone. So I'll do like, here, fuck it, I ain't doing nothing else. And whoever's worried about what the fuck ways that I'm looking right now, why are you worried about what I don't look well? What do you mean? Like, people are so goofy. Like, what am I supposed to be doing out here, being a supermodel? What am I supposed to be doing? Being a supermodel? Am I supposed to be going tanning and shit and make sure that these dark circles ain't under my eyes or something from fighting all my fucking life and having black eyes? Do I gotta explain this shit to everybody every time? Like, seriously, I'm not worried about your bitch. No bitches out here. I'm not worried about it. I know these bitches are made to be trash right now, pretty much. Sorry, but it's the truth. They're chasing motherfuckers' bags. I'm not worried about them touching mine. And I ain't got no bag for them anyway. So just listen and learn. Don't worry about the fuck I'm looking like. I don't do this shit for fucking likes and love. I get hated for this shit, for real. I'll be honest with you. Over 5 fucking years. Over probably at least 6,000 fucking live feed videos, and I don't need no one's friendship. I don't care about that. That's not why I'm doing this fucking shit. You think I really like fucking... I mean, when I was saying, it's exciting. It's exciting. It becomes your life. It's because my life was ghetto. I was hood as fuck. I was in shootouts, and my whole family held hostage. I've been pistol whipped, kidnapped, all kinds of shit, you know? So the life that I lived before this one, you know, it was kind of exciting too, you know? I was wondering when a motherfucker was going to come and try and put a cap in my ass or something like that, you know? Something like that, pretty much. So now I'm just waiting on the military to come fuck me around. You know, now I'm just waiting on our own people to come and probably swoop me up for fucking talking about their bosses that are fucking them and their own children too. And every one of us putting me on a fucking list for knowing these things, while I'm also on a list of everyone else's, like, oh God, he's just a crazy, weird fucking nutcase conspiracy theorist. He's just a weird nutcase. He could never be trying to expose what these people are trying to do. Why do those words spell forwards and backwards? That is kind of weird, I'm not gonna lie, but I think he's just got too much goddamn times on his hands. He needs to go and make sure that he can make time as money for this paper printed ink piece of paper that it looks like some of those words that he might even have on that damn screen right there that's spelling forward and backwards could be on everything that we're talking about. But he needs to still go do what the fuck we've been brainwashed and told what the fuck to do. Right? Pretty much. By who? The people that told us to be alphabet boys and girls, I bet. Yep. The pyramid. To make the ABC. The alphabet boys and girls. It's going to be backwards from you guys this time. I'm not going to take and try and do all, like, it's already crazy that I do all this shit and still get fucking, oh God, you look rough, brother. I know, I'm over here smoking meth, everybody. I'm over here smoking meth, fucking smoking crack. You know, if that was the truth, I would be getting so many more views, I guarantee it. Because you'd be able to know I'm fucking smoking crack and meth and whatever else. I would never dog and disrespect myself like that. And when you do this shit, and I get plenty of sleep, I promise. But I'm telling you, who cares? I'm not trying to be a star. I'm not here trying to be like, hey, everybody. I'm trying to save your kids. It's the fuck I'm trying to do. Our children, the future. The child that should have been able to be at a young age, me and my own brothers, that we didn't get to be nothing like what we should have been able to become. None of us. And none of you neither. None of you. So I do this because they're not taking my time as money no more for anything that they've ever taken my time as money time for, while they had me indoctrinated to be an alphabet boy or girl too. It doesn't matter if I was on the streets or not. I was still their paper pusher for whatever it was of the resources that they was able to indoctrinate me to be able to become their paper pusher instead of a fucking pusher for us. I used to worry so much about what motherfuckers looked at me and thought about me. I don't give a fuck anymore. I know that shit's dead. Love is dead. Money took that shit. So anyways, when they control the money, all you gotta do is put the E at the end of it, because this is the type of shit they do, just like plan. Oh, fuck. I did just go backwards with this. I'm just, so here now fuck. Anyhow, plan. So some of it's gonna be backwards, some of it, you're gonna be able to see what the fuck it is, okay? Whoever isn't, whatever the fuck. Plan it, and then Earth. So, and this is how they do us, because they plan it, Earth. So then this H right here, it could be in front of this, and this would be heart. This is what they do. So when you start seeing this shit in the language, you start to realize, like, well, wait a minute. These motherfuckers been controlling the language that long. And then you look into the language and you find out how old the language is, and then you see how long ago slaves became free, which we was slaves, we are slaves, we've always been slaves. I don't give a fuck what color you are. And then the manipulation of being able to teach everybody the ABCs so that everybody could be D, E, F, and G made sure of it. And then they put after that, hi, you know, like, and everybody can act like whatever it ain't. Now, he thinks to, okay, whatever. You're lucky that some of us are here doing this because there's some kind of infection in this place or something that's going on that's making sure that all of us are start acting the same fucking ways as everyone thinks they're self-made, right? So, what is this? E, L-F, that's elf. And then we'll have Santa, right? To get everybody, because they worship this X-Mass. X-Mass who? X-Mass. And everyone thinks this shit's crazy, but who is the corpse? We're the corpse. And why are we called the corpse? Why are we called the corpse? Because we're a part of the corporation entity inside Inc. INC, or oh shit, I just fucked that up. But look, INC, but INC really is I-N-K, and then Inc. Sync, or in sync. All of this shit, it's witchcraft language. But anyways, when you start to see that these motherfuckers trained us to do these things, oh, there goes that. Give me 1 second. Pop the goddamn nail on. I don't want to know all this shit. I don't want to have to be one of the ones doing this shit, I'll tell you. I promise you that. But it's like certain ones of us have to. Certain ones of us have been put here to do whatever or something. Whether people want to believe this shit or not. Something is weird going on for sure. And I'm not no fucking drug addict. I smoke weed, that's it. I smoke weed and drink some fucking beer here and there. But I don't fuck with hardly nobody anymore. I got a few people that I fuck with just because most people will think that you don't went fucking nuts like they're supposed to think any goddamn ways after you start talking this crazy ass shit. But anyhow, the people that control the money, they have been the ones that have controlled from back in the day when they had their little, I don't know, their plantations. So this would be their plantation, right? And this would be just one area. And there'll be all kinds of areas all across the United States that are these areas, okay? These would be the other men that are connected already, that came from the beginning of whatever for all those 1,400 years. And all those years they was making war. They was making war for all men and women. And it was raw war. They made this language. It's spelled forward and backwards for a fucking reason. Law being backwards, being wall. It's definitely for a reason. It's not just coincidence, all of these things. And then the satanic star, it's the same thing. It doesn't matter. And they say, as above, so below, because they control them both. And that's why when you put these two things together like this, it's that fucking star like that they control all the stars, and the star being straight up this way or down this way, being the fucking Baphomet star or whatever they call it. They say that as above, so below. They're controlling all of it. They're controlling the good and the bad. They're controlling the right wing and the left wing. They're controlling everything with the ink, because they've manipulated everyone to believe in these pieces of paper, because they had to manipulate everyone first with the Bible shit to be able to get everyone following whatever the orders of the leaders was after they had let go of the whip. Because they had the whip, so they was killing so many slaves. So they had to figure out another way to psychologically manipulate people, to get them to think about whatever it was, to be able to get them to start following them, to get the yellow brick road moving. That the Wizard of Oz is about that too, because it's making everyone go and chase whatever, and it's all over a bitch, and it's a fucking bunch of goofy motherfuckers, the lion and the dumbass and all. These are all the characters that they've made inside the characters of being able to manipulate the alphabets to the boys and girls, so that they could manipulate the psychology of the people. Whether you want to believe it or not, I don't give a fuck. Go look at it yourself and see, and then you tell yourself. So anyways, when they can control all of that, and they're teaching all of their people, because it's all of their family members from however long ago, they're letting them know about this Bible that they wrote to be able to get them to follow whatever, because they know if they've got somebody believing that someone's watching them for whatever the things are that they're doing in their own life, they can get them to do certain things that they usually wouldn't do in the name of God. So now, and that's why if you're going to try to get into any cult or anything like that, they want to at least know if you believe in some type of a higher power. Because if you do, then they know they can use the psychological manipulation that has been taught to everyone to be able to manipulate you how they need to be able to program you, period. So now they taught all of them. And certain slaves, they would allow certain slaves to know more about whatever and start giving them a Bible. The first thing that you was ever allowed to read, you can go look into this yourself, you can fucking, or don't, is a Bible. Why? Why? Why the first thing that you're allowed to read as a slave when they're finally letting you read their language that you can fucking spell so many words forwards and backwards and all of these other things? Why? You know why? So they can eventually make their courtrooms. And everything else is everyone that they've taught, is everyone that they've taught in their families. So I think that the name Mason came from maybe when they were saying, yes, you may, son, or yes, you may, son, or the sun, because they call it the sun god. So even though this shit is called, spelled S-U-N or S-O-N, as long as it's sun, it still has something to do with it. And that's like with their spells and their sorcery, whatever they've done to make this happen. And so anyways, all of their people now, they'll be the ones that are educated the most, that have all of this information. And from 1400 years ago, 1400 years ago, these people made this English language. I'm only 44 years old, about to be 45. All of that 1400 years, I know none of my ancestors in any of that. I bet we was all the poor. I don't know. What I think is we've all been poor. They've kept us poor. They've kept us in little certain areas or whatever just to be able to feed off of us, use us to build everything, use us to do everything to destroy each other, make all of the stories because they've been able to psychologically manipulate us through the language, through the religions, through racism, through sexism, through classism, through drugs, through crime, through the police, through wars, through all of these things to be able to feed off of us, because as long as they got us battling with each other and they can just give us this piece of paper that they've indoctrinated us all, that if we don't go to their education centers and listen, that our parents could get in trouble or something like that, that they could go to jail or we can get in trouble, something's going to happen. It's structured perfect, but then you're also made to feel like you're being bad, or you're a problem to society, or if you're not doing these things. Like it's just, and then you start looking into the birth certificate. You see we're traded on the stock market. You look into the money that they never taught you about in school. Anyways, it's so easy to see this shit when you start to look, man. But they keep everyone so busy because now all of these slave masters from back in the day that figured out all the ink, they start hiring certain people to be their teachers and shit down here that was the other slaves. So they never have to work. They got all of these other ones down here that are family members from these old bloodlines of people that was masters to servants that have already wrote it. Their grandfathers wrote it. All of these people wrote it. And so now they hand it down to the other people that are running the television areas, running the education centers, running the science centers, running the churches. And the churches was the biggest things because the churches had to be the first things to be able to even start teaching anyone anything, to be able to even want to try and act like they're going to start teaching them anything about education for history. So the churches and the stories of religious beliefs, which there are 4,200 plus different religions, if anyone doesn't know this, needed to be structured a certain way, because even like when this first started like this and they was thinking about taking over the world or whatever like that, they had to be able to ride their horses across the world to each person to be able to start telling all these people about these religious beliefs that they're needing them to get involved in too. And if they ain't going along with it, then their clique, their claim, whatever it is that they're taking over the world, you'll get wiped out by them and their money, or them and their soldiers and military that they went and took over anyways. So now they put all of these other religions in all of these other places. And it's the same story pretty much. but it's still them telling and teaching everyone the indoctrination from the television and the radio and the newspapers for generations and generations about all of the things that you need to be worried about in science, about global warming, all of the things you need to worry about the lies in space, so that everyone pays all these extra tax dollars on top of money for things that is being lied to about where the tax dollars are really going, and it's really going into building cameras and technologies of war machines against us to keep us locked in even more, because from the very beginning, as you can see with just the language, it's always been just that, and to keep locked in, keep us locked in. So it shouldn't be that hard to see that, especially just from 1400 years ago with the English language. So anyways, so now they're telling everyone else who's going to do what, because they already got everybody doing whatever they need them to do. They only needed all of those religions or whatever at those times to keep all of their slaves doing what they needed their slaves to do, so that everyone's bickering and fighting with each other and could never see eye to eye. So they keep a right wing and a left wing so that they can keep these perverts in our faces or something like that, making us all be like, oh, you've picked him. No, you picked him. Making everyone else believe that we're the ones picking these people when it's a lie. But certain people will go in there and put their votes in thinking this shit ever counted, and it never really did. It was just to make people believe that this shit counted. And as long as all the people that have been taught by the big guy are the ones that everyone's supposed to be believing in, just like they believe in all their faith and their gods, and then they trust that Jesus is coming to save somebody, and all this other ink bullshit that made everyone believe all this other ink bullshit has made everyone have faith in God we trust right on the goddamn dollar bill that's fucking everyone right in your fucking asses, while the police hold up the policies for the policymakers from the altars of authorities that give us the information that make everyone move in formation, because the control, to conform to contracts for the devil live forward and backwards, for us to live evil and go dog we trust. That's perfect, isn't it? Yes, it is. Oh, yes, it is. So anyways, they're paying everyone to do whatever. And if you're not doing your job, you'll lose your job. Someone can replace you right here in the little slave trade. If you ain't doing your job, you're going to lose your house. You're going to lose your car payment. You're just one person in all of these millions or whatever of people that is being paid by the same motherfucking people that made the language, that made the game, that made the whole organized to take over the whole world and use every single one of us against each other, to use the police, to use the military, as they call them, the devil dogs, as the heroine is heroin, as the heroes bring in the heroine, as there's many stories and newspapers, and well, they're gone now, but you can find all types of things on these people, the CIA, the alphabet boys and girls, the shadow government and things like that, taking over all of these other places for the drugs, and then also, look, I don't see how people can't see this shit. I just don't see how people can't see it. They print the fucking money. That's it. They've been printing the money. That's as easy as it is. They print the fucking money. They pay the actors. They pay the prisons. They pay everyone while they're sitting up in wherever the fuck they are, eating fat than a motherfucker, gold chairs, gold shitters, gold every goddamn thing. Gold everything. While they're building more stuff to make us even more enslaved, while we're arguing and fighting with each other about who the fuck is fucking who down here, while we're all getting fucked, way fucked by them motherfuckers up there. And they're paying everyone. And they're teaching and training everyone in their education centers. They're teaching everyone in their cult fucking religious centers. They're teaching everyone. They took every resource from all of us, period. I don't know. It's just, I hope that this helps some people, man. You know, I do. I don't go to church, but I do believe my God, Jesus, and the Holy Ghost. These people are evil. Wake up. Well, whatever it is that makes you feel comfortable, know that there is someone there. There is someone there. But I don't trust these ink scripts. And it scares me so much because everyone else that keeps on believing these same things is pretty much helping hold the stories together for the people that they've always used to be the warriors to go and take over the world. Because they use our children in the poor areas. So they use the children in the poor areas. So think about that. And then also think about the police. They will not hire police above a certain IQ. You cannot be a police officer above a certain IQ. Why? Because police officers came from slave patrol. Anyone can look this up. They came from slave patrol. This is what they originated from, slave patrol. Because the better slave that they was teaching the Bible first or whatever else it was, they was allowing them to get involved in their laws of their godly things because God gave them the land and the masters and the servants and everyone's doing what they're supposed to be doing because now they don't have to use a whip no more. So now they become that, and then it just slowly integrated into turning everything into these good stories from these book stories that they're writing to make everyone, to calm everyone down, to keep everyone calm and to make people feel like they're supposed to be the heroes. And usually the ones that they tell us are the heroes or whatever, that are the ones that are in these history books or whatever else it may be. They got to make them all sound so good to Christopher Columbus and all these other things about the people that have taken over all of these people's lands, to make us feel like we would be good and be able to be the big egos we need to become to be the police officers and the military and the sports athletes and whatever else that everyone else is telling each other. Yes, a good job, stars and stripes, stars and stripes. Yes, as we're being raised all the way from a very young child with the stars and everything on our if you're going to school and they give you the star and you're a good student this week or this month or whatever else, as they give you a little tiny break outside, half hour or something with the children that you finally get to interact with a little bit, but you get to go home and watch perfectly scripted cartoons and television shows to be able to psychologically, mentally fuck you up about the ways that you're interacting with people and the ways that they're interacting with you and how you feel or value yourself for the things that you look at yourself as your weight, your face, your ears, your eyes, your position in life, your parents, if you have your mother and father, if you don't, which most of the time you don't, because it's also broke down like that because of the women's rights movement and women's feminist movement and all of these other things to make the bad bitch and to make the independent woman and to break down the function of the family home, and women thinking that they're being brought up on this pedestal, which they was, but they're being brought up on the pedestal so that now instead of being able to tax one person in the home as the men the ways that they did, now they can tax both sides of the home. And now just imagine if you did have, if it was you was running it as a human farm the ways that you are, what would you want to make it into? And then when you would start to think about it, especially as a perverted man or a perverted old man, if you could control the entertainments and you could control the people's times and you could keep their parents away from them and you could start reading, molding and structuring these children from the very young ages to be hypersexualized, dancing and twerking, watching their mom dance and twerk. We're letting the boys turn into it because you want the boys to be able to do it too now. So that's what they're doing. They're training everyone. Everyone's always been trained from television. People say, no, the television comes from us. It's our real life stories. No, they shaped our lives. Everything that they've ever written down, they've paid their family members and everything. I've been saying this for so long time. Love you, man, for saying this, getting people to open their eyes and waking up. He is telling the truth. Hell yes, man, I love this. Keep it up. Ones that don't want to believe what you are saying, then move to another chamber. We got to do something. We have to speak to our family members. Do they have children? Yes, they do. Do you military men and women have children? Yes, you do. So listen to me. Listen. They will not hire police officers at above average IQ. I love you. I'm not your enemy. I love you. But look into it yourself. And then wonder to yourself, why? You're their power. Military, same things. Think about it. Where do they get the military people from? The lower class areas in their environments, right? Right. They don't get the people in the rich areas to go and fight for their wars or whatever, do they? No, they don't. Do they ever usually have very many father figures and stuff like that? If they do, they're already military people or whatever it is. They're already being pushed and forced really hard to become this man and all men better be men. You better be men. Why? So you can fight. For what? The woman. And the woman better always want to make sure that the man wants to fight for her. And he better show it, right? Right. So does it sound like raw war to you? It sure the fuck is. It's psychological warfare. So that it makes sure that none of us ever get along with each other, so that you can never stay in a relationship, so that the man is always wondering what's wrong with him, but he don't never have enough time to have anyone to ever tell him anything. But the television's telling him everything. The music's telling him everything. Everyone else around him's telling him everything. Everyone's telling you everything you're supposed to be listening to, and stay stuck in the Bible and stuck on everything else because God's going to fix it. Not go fix it yourself. Not go fix it yourself. Not go and look into many bright and very intelligent people on the internet and listen to some advanced self-help stuff that other people will tell you not to listen to, or listen to things that make you see that you can start to learn something different from someone that never ever told you anything. Learn yourself. Find out who you are, what makes you really feel. Do you like black people, or did someone make you not like black people? Do you like white people, or did someone make you not like white people? Do you like certain things, or do you just don't know because everyone else told you what you're supposed to like and what you're allowed to say as a man or a woman, a white one or a black one? Because society is not shaped. There's not community standards that might offend someone on a certain level that someone else might be able to get away with. And we all know this, do we not? That's social engineering. So they want you to be fucked up so that you'll have to go and do their medications. They'll want you to be fucked up so that if you feel like somebody just don't want nothing to do with you, like a lot of us have felt like, oh, what's wrong with me? God damn it, what's wrong with me? Especially men, because the only thing you're fucking worth is any money. Especially nowadays to the women, that's all you're worth anymore is money. And then that's pretty much all that's ever been pumped up and pushed and promoted, because that's the only way to be able to make the men slaves, be the best slaves that they can, to be able to serve the masters, so that your masters become your children and your wife or whatever else too. Or you can end up in the court system that they'll take every fucking thing away from you because they got your balls in their fucking court. And they've trained their warriors, that not only the military but are the women too, to be able to keep their court systems full with domestic violences, felonious assaults of men fighting over this woman. So humans need a leader. It's in our nature. Who's the leader of the bad guys? It's not in our nature. They've taken and made this like this. It's not in our nature. Well, you know what? Maybe when you do think about it, I guess maybe someone did pull up and made everyone scared to death of them or whatever. So whatever this evolution is, that what we've been going through, you're right. You're probably right about that in a lot of ways. But we don't need no fucking leaders now. Motherfucker come around my way and then blow. That's what it is. Like that's we need to fix this somehow. And it doesn't look like it's going to be fixed. I don't know, but something else is getting ready to happen. I'll tell you that. And it ain't nothing about what the fuck these books are saying. I mean, it's coming close to whatever, but it's about to be some sci-fi fucking movie shit. I'm telling you. We are not what they tell us we are. You misunderstood. I'm not talking about him. You see, you proved my point. No, I love you. I don't know what. And sometimes I'm into this. Sometimes I take shit the wrong way too. So if I ever do, my apologies. I've been doing this a long time. I've had a bunch of idiots in this motherfucking world coming on here talking all kinds of crazy shit, you know. You know, that's all, like, and so I don't know. It's another thing I've done some research on Nibiru. Oh, there's definitely other beings. Something else is going on, whether it's us or something. Reminds me of Babel and Nimrod. And listen to that, Babel. They're doing that on purpose. They call it Babylon because we're babies on the lawn. We're babbling about a bunch of nothing like Charlie Brown shit because they've made us speak this language. Oh, I definitely feel it. I've been getting messages. I've been visited by other beings. I made the video on here, and the first one that I made, they shut it off. I was visited by other beings, telepathically communicated through and everything. I've been fucked with my whole life. But here recently, they're really fucking with me. I know we don't die ever. There's more people like me here too. I'm no more special than no one. I love everyone. We're all special. I like people who treat others with respect and love. Life, pro-truth, creation is our nature. If you're good, what do you think about the vaccine? Do not fuck with them vaccines. Research this shit. It changes your DNA. They've already changed our DNA before, and now they're trying to bring certain shit back and control us and use it through this shit. We don't have time to convince everyone what's going on, so what should we do? This is the only thing that I know what I'm supposed to be doing right now. This is all I've been doing every single day, all day. Every day I'm on here all day, ever since 2016. I'm dressed as a stripper bitch named Sharon Cox. I'm dressed as a hood nigga named Graham Cracker. I'm dressed as a nerdy white guy doing the New World Order interview. I should have been viral. I'm a goofy motherfucker. The idiocracy type shit that I've been doing, I should have been viral. But it's the things that I'm saying. They only allow certain people to go far as they want them to go because they control what they want to make people feel the value is, so that everyone is shaped in reality, believing that they're making the decisions by the likes or the loves or whatever, the same ways that they have done it, by making us believe that any of our voices ever count for voting for any of the presidents, that every single one of them are related except one. And that doesn't mean that the one that they're not related is Trump and that he's not one of their puppets too, because the trumpet is sounding because he's a puppet too. It's all in the words. We are endless, most definitely. Most definitely. What that island in India called where no one is allowed to go. Let's go there. No new world order. Ha ha. Well, this is the main thing that we have to understand. This is why we have to communicate. The people that are running the machines that are detecting everything that we're doing and saying and speaking, they have no idea what's really going on because they're working at their 9-to-5 jobs every single day, that they've been programmed to only listen to whatever is supposed to be valued to them and their families, whether it's in their church systems or whatever that is being told and taught and trained by the same people that have always kept control over everyone because they pay their bills and everything. The televisions that's telling everyone whatever the fuck is supposed to be going on, especially including the news and everything else. And if you are in a higher position of whatever it is that you are needed the most, whether it's the doctors or the military people or the government people or whatever, I'm sure they're keeping their times very well occupied right now, especially under the lies of this COVID, to be able to give them more programming of whatever it is that they need to teach them to get the structures going the ways that they need it to go. Both are wings of the same bird, Phoenix, right? Yes. How's it still running? Yeah, I know. They are letting it go right now for some reason. Isn't that weird? The Christian death cult will destroy democracy default. Well, I don't know. I hope something happens. Keep spreading your knowledge, brother. That's the best you can do. That's what I do. Oh, I definitely get it, Christy. I do. So what do we have to speak, Heather. No matter who wants to try and shut you up and make you feel like something is wrong with you and something crazy, everyone better start realizing what's going on right now. This COVID is a lie for everyone to be able to get their businesses taken. This is taking everyone's businesses from them. So the people that's our own family members, everyone's being used to take everything from everyone else by people that have printed pieces of paper to be able to print our minds. To take everything from everyone. Now and no wonder there's so many people killing themselves and stuff too. Because as long as you can print the money and play everybody about the money, you're taking everyone. You can't trust no one. The doctors, no one. And they can't even trust themselves because they went to school for however long it was and they're being used and manipulated. They won't be able to pay their bills to their masters. They've taken control over everything, just like the Monopoly board that is a witchcraft board that they put right in our faces, allowing us to see how they're going to shape the world right in our faces. Every board game is a witchcraft game. Everything is their witchcraft. Everyone talks about, the Bible says, don't mess with this, don't do that. It's witchcraft, this. Everything is witchcraft, and we're not using none of it against them. They're using nothing but the dark against us. Hollywood stands for the Hollywood tree. It's a witchcraft tree, satanic witchcraft. They praise and do this satanic stuff. Every religion is connected to their religion, and it's satanic witchcraft, whether you want to believe it or not. Marketing strategy for the patent vaccine. It's weird, bro. They were stopping people, but now it's like back to normal and try to make us feel like we can't do nothing. What about the vaccines? I'm terrified to take it. I'm not taking it. But no matter what, this is what's going on. Like, everyone is indoctrinated to an extent to where they'll do their job. And even if someone gets killed or locked up or goes to prison, and they keep these people in these FEMA camps or whatever else it is for as long, because making everyone believe that they got to worry about each other under the lie. As long as they have everyone indoctrinated to do their job for a piece of money and be worried to death about being able to pay their bills and don't care about no one else, like they've led everyone into believing, then it's going to work. That's what's scary. Because, like I said, they use the young youth that is already mad as fuck. And I'm telling you, I grew up with no father figures. I grew up being beat on by multiple different men. I know the position my mindset was in my 20s. Even into my 30s, a lot of times, kind of. So I know the people that they picked, that they've made the warriors. They picked the poor, lower class people that's been beat on and abused. And they'll be ready to fuck everybody up. I wouldn't give a fuck who you put in my face. I'd have shot your ass. Even in our own city. If my daughter wouldn't have been born. Even when she was born, I would have done it even more so. Very wildfire usually cut this off. It is strange, isn't it? Because there's a lot of people here. Usually they would have cut it off. Everyone needs to read Agenda 21, which is the globalist blueprint for not only America, but the world. They are using the shutdown as an excuse for the 1% to achieve a massive land grab and the reset. Yep, what they have done every 100 years, pretty much. There it is, why he turned from God. Who? Who, me? Do you have a Trump thing on your thing too? Oh, God. Come on now. I'm going to go ahead and play something for y'all. Hopefully it lets this 120, because I'm loving chilling with you smart people here. I love you so much. And if I say anything too rude, I'm sorry. Just don't come on here and be stupid. but God loves him and died for him. Debbie, I love you. It's okay, baby. I love you. You ain't gonna make me feel funny. I'm sad that you have to feel that way about whatever. I love you, okay? I do this for you. Hold on.
You know, that there's a lot of work to undo a lot of the religious indoctrination that has gone on, and how people are just totally attached to seeing it one way. They won't look at it from any different perspective than what their religion has conditioned them to believe. And it has nothing to do with pursuing truth in their mind. You know, all it has to do with is, this is what my religion says. This is telling me don't look into this other alternative information because it conflicts with my religion. They can't see that that's a control system for the mind. It's a control system for consciousness. And they won't look at anything from an alternative point of view. When in fact, if they just looked at the details in some of these stories in the Sumerian and Akkadian and Assyrian cultures, you know, you would see this story that is told in the Old Testament richly spring to life in a detailed form. And then you would understand what's being told in the Old Testament, and is unfortunately lacking the detail in the biblical texts, whereas the detail is filled in some of these other texts, and then the biblical texts make perfect historical sense in light of those other texts. But because they're told anything that's not canon scripture, you know, it doesn't have the King James stamp of approval on it, there can't be any truth in that. You know, and it's just, again, it's a child's mindset. It's such a shame how religion has where religion has people's minds. It's just truly unbelievable. And, you know, it keeps going back to that. The theme of this show and my work keeps going back to breaking down the religions. Whether you believe in the cultural religions, meaning the so-called world religions of Christianity, Judaism, Islam, Hinduism, Buddhism, etc., okay? Or you believe in science as a religion, that no truth can, if the established scientific community doesn't say it works this way, then there's no truth in it. You know, that's it. Okay? That's called scientism, science as a religion. Government as a religion, the belief in authority is a religion. The New Age movement, as I've talked about endlessly, is a religion. I call it the religion of standing down and not taking any action. You know, we're going to change reality on thought and emotion alone. No action is going to be required, though. You're not going to actually have to do anything. No courage is going to be involved. You're never going to have to, nothing will ever be confrontational. We'll meditate the world into a state of bliss, permanent bliss, don't you know? Okay, you know, it's all complete childlike mentality. And all it is believing my religion is right. You know, but nobody ever wants to look at truth.
And look, Cody says, Debbie Perez, amen. Todd's heard me say this 100 times. And you know who else Todd has heard here say it 100 times exactly over and over, perfectly? Mockingbird, exactly the program that everyone has been programmed with, the youngest religion in the world. That's witchcraft language. I love you guys, okay? Listen.
When it all comes down to, and then of course we have the big religion, let's not leave that one out, money. You know, the ultimate religion, you could call it. The ultimate God of this world. You know, that's the most deeply entrenched religion out of all the others. The other ones have no hold on the human mind like that one does. You know, that's the strongest one of all. You know, so all those religions have to go. You want to be free? Every religion I just mentioned there has to go, plus every other one. Every religion you can name needs to go. And the things that act as a religion, meaning hold us back from truth, that which holds us back from truth. So all cultural religion, all government, all notions of authority, all scientism. Real science I don't have a problem with, but I'm talking about scientism, and the New Age religion. You can just group that in with all the other religions. That's the catch-all. In case you don't fit into any of the other cultural religious mind control, we'll wrap you up in that trap real good. You know? And then money. You know? Until those religions are destroyed, humanity will never be free. Get over it, ladies and gentlemen. That's true.
So listen, I'm going to tell everyone this right here, too, because I've told everyone that Mark Passio is an ex-satanic preacher, anyone that listens. He also tells everyone that he's an ex-satanic preacher if everyone listens. I don't trust every word that anyone says. I believe that all of these people that are allowing any of us know are all a part of it, just like any of the parts of the Bible shit that everyone's been believing. Everything ever since an ink pen that is the staff and the snake, that is what the $sign is, ever since anything with the language, the English language that the alphabet boys and girls have been made from, that all of these words spell forwards and backwards, that's 1,400 years old, by the ways, that has been able to keep their family bloodlines in structure of power and control because they was sent by God to be the masters and we was the servants to be very obedient slaves to God and whatever else. So all of those stories that are put in there for the kindergarten shit that it always sounds like and has always sounded like to me, is kindergarten ass shit. God made this on this day and God said it was good. And then on this day, on the day of this day, God made this and it was good. I tried to start reading it. I was like, no. But when I found out that the English language is witchcraft and it's written the ways it is, and I started to research about all of these things, and I found out that they've only allowed slaves to read the Bible that they made, I was like, wonder why. And then I started thinking about the ways that they finally started to teach slaves to read and write and ABC after they stole all the slaves from all of these other places, and then they came over here and to teach us this slave language. Then I'm like, so we've only known language for a few hundred years, being slaves, being free, after they've taught us these things, and the police can come and get you if you're not going to their school and stuff like that. So I'm like one of those people that's like, I'm not buying their bullshit, okay? So that's why I do what I do. So anyways, but Mark Passio has a lot of good information. But like I said, I don't trust any of these people's information all the way. I just know what I can feel. I know what I can feel. I know what I can see with my own eyes. I can comprehend with my own intelligence that I hope that I do. I hope my ass. I know I got it. And I can see it. And I love you all. I don't give a fuck what your ink pen man-made beliefs are. So you can be in the bullpen.
That's the truth. Till those religions are abandoned, you're going to be in a state of chains, in a state of bondage, period. And until people understand that natural law is the solution, that natural law is the answer, okay? That it's about what we need to stop doing that is causing harm to other beings. When we stop causing that harm, we will be free. That's how the law of morality, that's how the law of freedom works. As morality increases and we stop doing harm to other beings, we become freer. As morality decreases and we continue to do harm to other beings, you're going to be more and more enslaved. If you don't want to recognize that and understand that that's eternal truth because it is the law of creation, nothing will change here. When people get that through their thick skulls, then you'll start seeing some change occur in the world. And it's not that way because I say it's that way. Once again, it has nothing to do with me. I'm nobody. I'm one person who has happened to discover that this is what is true. I'm not the first. I won't be the last. I have no magical powers that allow me to make that discovery. You know, I'm not special, more special than anybody else because I've come to that understanding of truth. Okay, it's not my belief system. And people have a hard time with that. They don't want to understand this isn't about a belief. It's not about a belief or a religion. It's about coming into harmony, bringing your own perceptions and consciousness into harmony with that which is. And that's all it's about. So, you know, I'm not saying that what I just laid out there is true because I said it. It's true eternally because it's what is. I happen to discover that that's how it is. And again, I'm not special because I've discovered that. Many other people have in the past, and millions of others after me will also do the same. Okay? So, I mean, religion, the whole point comes back to that religion is such a powerful force at work in the world, holding us back from where we say we want to go. And everybody has one, it seems, or most people do. So there are some people who are out all the way from religion, from the mind control of religion, but not many. Most people in one form or another still have deep attachment to religion. And that's why they're in mental bondage, and that's why they're creating the conditions through their mental bondage that create physical bondage in the world. And until they stop thinking like that, don't expect the physical bondage to go away or to magically transmute itself or change.
Debbie, do you, and that's what other people are saying too, but do you celebrate Christmas, Debbie? Do you know what Santa stands for? Don't lie. Do you celebrate Christmas? Do you celebrate Easter? I love you.
It doesn't work like that. It does not work like that. So, sure. Go ahead, Ling. Well, I don't think it's necessary for that suffering to happen. But I think, unfortunately, we are choosing it. We don't love ourselves enough to want not to choose that suffering, if you can follow that line of logic. In order not to choose suffering and to choose the way that doesn't involve all that suffering, you really have to care about yourself. You have to love yourself and say, I'm worth more than this. I don't have to go through all that suffering. I'm better than that. I can learn what's true and then align my behavior to it. And then I won't have to go through all that suffering.
Debbie, how often have you watched me, sis? Listen to this word. Freedom. Just listen to it.
But no, not humanity, because we hate ourselves at our core. We are self-loathing people at our core. And until that illness is healed, expect more of the same. We have to become into true self-love. You can't really love anybody else unless you truly love yourself. And if you want more suffering for yourself, of course you're not going to care about what other people are in suffering. You're not going to give a damn about that. You know, you don't care whether you're in suffering, let alone other people. I mean, why would we expect anything to be different in this world instead of it being full of suffering and slavery? You know, because we don't even care enough about ourselves not to want to go down that painful.
And hold on, there's a couple Debbies on here. So, and I'm not trying to be rude. I'm sorry. I love you. I am free, even if they put us in chains. I am free. What? Because that Bible has made you feel certain free? Because you're able to give everything to them because they've been able to keep you bent over because of it. I love you. I love you, but I'm not going for it. I'm not going for that shit. I love you. That's why we're fucked. That's why no one's doing nothing. That's why no one's saying nothing, because everyone's just talking about God's going to do whatever it is, while the motherfuckers that made everyone believe that someone else is going to do something are doing exactly what they're doing, because everyone done put it in the hands of some imaginary something that's coming to save us. Matter of fact, let me play this one. He shed his blood. Was you there, Debbie? Was you there, Debbie? Or did you hear it in an Ink Book story? Was you there, Debbie? Was Cody there? Who else was there? All of these witnesses that's been written down in Rich Man Ink Book by pieces of paper that was expensive as fuck back in the day, and they're just, you know, the world was built on love, right? Is that what's going on? They just handed out pieces of paper with ink for no benefit, right? Why are people so gullible? I'm in Columbus, Ohio. Why? Are you going to pull up, Alex? Columbus, Ohio, West Side. Todd Church. Salvation is a choice. Joseph was there. Forgot last time. Really? Hell yeah. That's what's up. That's what's up. Hell yeah. Who told him and who told you and who told everybody else that told everybody else that told everybody else? No, not you, Debbie. It was Debbie Perez. I got a friend of mine. His last name is Perez, so that popped up, and I was thinking, like, what? But anyways, you believe in a higher power, correct? Oh, most definitely. Most definitely. There are many, many good and bad. Many, many good and bad. But who knows whose fish tank we're in? Oh, I know. I love you. I appreciate you. It doesn't matter what anyone wants to turn. Like, and I appreciate the respect, because I respect people that respect me. That's all, you know, like, and if you don't respect me, I can go all the way gutter with it too. And I can sound like a fucking asshole straight up, because I'm sick and tired of everybody else trying to fucking act like I'm forcing beliefs on someone when I'm just trying to tell people, you don't have to watch me. You know what I'm saying? I'm not like, no one has to watch me, but they're trying to force the same bullshit that has been working on all slaves ever since slaves was allowed to read and write, and ever since slaves was taught the English language to be able to read and write. And not only that they spell things forward and backwards, certain things, devil being one of them, is lived, and dog being one of them is God. And then not only that, but also they have certain types of things that they're also showing us right in our faces, that things just turn right into a box, and everyone's like, you need to get outside of the box and quit going down the rabbit hole. And I try and show these motherfuckers right in their faces, like, bro, what are you fucking talking about, dude? You act like I'm the one in the box. And then motherfuckers be like, you're the one the devil's got and brainwashed you. You're a devil worker. You're the devil worker. And now I'm like, well, yeah, guess the devil must not have been that goddamn slick and con, whatever, right? The whole world looks like it's turning into what it's turning into. But all of you motherfuckers are the ones that's awake and don't know what, and know what the fuck's going on because of your book, right? Right. And then you guys go and you graduate your education in your fucking colleges, and they tell you you're doing what the fuck they want you to do under the name of God of their munai, right? Right. Or you're going to go and fight wars and whatever else under the name of God for their munai, right? Right. And then when you do graduate, you got like a square box thing on the top of your head for some odd reason. Did you ever ask or wonder why that's there? I do know much more than you see, my friend, so I can see you're intelligent, and I got stuff that could blow your mind. Oh, I love you, brother. I love everyone. I do this shit for everyone, man. I do this for everyone. You do speak a lot of truth. People just don't understand where you're coming from. Oh, it's because everyone's been kept at a 6th grade maximum mindset. Washington, D.C. is shaped like a giant. And when everyone only stays in their books that they've been told to stay in on their scheduled programs by the people that have manipulated and controlled and conned the troll to conform, to confuse, to contract, for Devil Lib Inc. Incorporated for the corpse, to be corporated by education on planet Earth heart. You can't get through to these motherfuckers. You got to think about it. They've had complete and total control of them all the way, every one of us, 18 years old, 24-hour days, sleep whatever, however many hours you're sleeping, and then you're listening and watching the radio and TV and listening to their bullshit fucking religion bullshit that they had to start you with religion first. Q or Trump, neither one. I don't trust none of them. None of them. It's all psyops. All of this is all mind fuck manipulation. All of it. All of it. Pointed it out where it can seems pre-planned. Everything's pre-planned. I'm not worried about that. She sees their day coming. Well, what if their day ain't coming? What's the end game? Well, hopefully we can wake people up instead of people telling everyone that Jesus is about to come and get it and save everyone. Because then if we can tell everybody that's worried about getting their dollars and their paychecks because of the people that have written the Bible Same people that control the Bible and the news channels and the radio and the education centers and printing of the money. And, you know, like, it's so weird that people can't grasp this shit. The same people that have always made the English language 1,400 years ago, that's the slave owners that have always owned the slaves to manipulate them with a piece of fucking paper, are the same motherfuckers right now today. It's so weird. How old are you, Debbie? How old are all of y'all that fall for this dumb shit? I know Cody's 30-something years old. But how old are you, Debbie? Do you see this, Debbie? Do you? What do you tell? Please tell me. And Cody too. And anyone else. Anyone else. Please tell me, what's the excuse? Can everyone please tell me what the excuse is? You're 27, well, why'd you say you was 30-something on my live feed? You said 30-something, I thought. Well, 27, it makes a lot more sense. You think you have it together, but you're lost, my friend. I'm 65. I know, Cody, he's 27, and he tells me the same thing, you 65-year-old woman, you. So anyways, Debbie, with your smart 65-year-old ass that you just fucking figured it all out. Tell me. Tell me, Debbie, what about the cross folding into the box, Debbie? 65-year-old smart Debbie that's got everything fucking figured out. Please tell me. What about the alphabet doing what it does? You're just here today. I've got over 5,000 live feed videos. I spell words forwards and backwards. I speak on all of this stuff. I've been doing this for a long time, Debbie. What do you speak on? Same identical word for word that Cody has came in here and said when he came in here and said, I've told him this 100 times. Yes, you have, just like everyone else that's been programmed just like you at your 27-year-old ass. Here comes that 65-year-old smart, fucking, intelligent, God-pumping woman. Quit it. What about it? He hung on it for you. What about this, Debbie? Check this out. Do you see what my last name is? Do you see it? Let me show you something, Debbie. Let's do this. Let me show you. Because I used to believe that same dumbass shit before I started thinking for myself. Can you see it? Does it make you tingly inside? I don't need nobody to hold my hand. I'm grown. I don't need nobody to tell me it's gonna be okay so that I don't say a goddamn thing and I get humble inside of Ink Man's lies that I've already made sure that I've got to bust my ass every day to get some more of Ink Man's money too. In God I trust. It's not working on me. Something I learned. You can't get frustrated when you can't reach someone because it's simply not their time yet. Oh, I'm going to keep doing it the way I do it. I'm going to do it the way I do it. I love you, though. I appreciate you. But yes, you do. That's why you're on Facebook. Yes, I do what? Yes, I do what, Alex? What you talking about? Alex Murphy. Yes, I do what, brother? Jesus never hung on a crucifix. Yeah, I know, right? It's so crazy. When you realize and understand your soul is priceless, your life becomes worthless in comparison, and you live for the truth and spread the word with others. I must be there, I think, right? He isn't on that cross anymore. He isn't Bab in a manger. He is a Lion of Judah. He will judge in his time. I know, right? Where was that story at, and how long ago was that story told in the English language? It's 1,400 years old. And how many other people know the exact same story that's been able to, and how many people have died under the name of all of these things and whatever else, and it's just like, well, that's just God doing it. Couldn't be the man that's doing it, that's making everyone else. No, must have been his time God had to do it. Oh, wait a minute, God, you just made some money. Oh, that was Jesus, that was God, that was, man, come on, man. Come on. It's so weird. Do you believe in God? I don't believe in that word, no. No. Do you believe in the devil? Do you know, spell the devil backwards and spell dog backwards, and spell lived backwards, spell raw backwards, spell law backwards. Go research the English language. I don't trust their words. I trust whoever loves us. Whoever it is up there that's fucking with me and been fucking with me my whole life and made me the good person that I know that I am. Me, whatever it is, yeah, I'm good with that one. No names. Same yesterday, today, and forever. God's word don't change, and he's not a man that he shouldn't. Rich man had ink, Debbie, 65-year-old smart woman, Debbie. I love you. I'm just doing this because, and I love you. I really do. Just please don't take me too hard or whatever. Rich man had ink paper and ink pen. Rich man. You think rich man is going to give his ink paper and pen away for nothing? Ink paper. Ink paper was expensive. Oh, it's cool. I do this all the time. When people come in and say anything like, I've been doing this so fucking, I used to argue with my family and friends around my neighborhood and shit on a certain level. So, okay. Oh boy. Facebook, what? Oh, here it comes. Let's see what this is going to be about. Debbie Laura. Okay, here she goes. I seen something about, I dare you something in here. Uh-oh, wait a minute. Oh, she got a long one too. She's pissed. Uh-oh. Here we go. This is going to be a good one, guys. I think. Okay, I think. Wait a minute. Oh boy, I don't know. We're going to see. Oh boy, Facebook flashed you up on my screen. So that's how we get your feed. Isn't it just the same for the flip side? Whereas the non-believers refuse to look at the other side. Religion or not, many Christians actually have a personal relationship with Jesus, programmed and indoctrinated in everyone to mock the same thing. Holy Spirit and God, not religion. You say this, they stand back and do nothing for change. Okay, what are they doing? Pretty sure majority of the Christians actually do get involved and help those in poverty, like Samaritans. Purse does serve in the military to ensure country. Anyone serving in the military, they're working for the devil, who promote communism and etc. Do not everyone's being lied to. So that's the, see, when you stay in the Bible, you don't see what's really going on. And to protect our freedoms as written in the Constitution, etc. Constitution is written to trick everyone, to make people feel a certain way about it's for us. You keep talking about Satan and witchcraft, yet it sounds like that is only who you are listening to. Maybe try to do something. Oh my God. Yeah. Isn't it so amazing how that's what I thought it was going to be. Okay. Sounds like that's all you are listening to. Maybe try to do some research to learn more. There is a deep state evil creeps running the world, including most likely the Vatican. Who doesn't know this? Be careful. That are the ones running all of the, the religion and everything that has taught everyone to be religious believers and whatever, to be fighting and telling everyone else that's trying to tell you about what Satan's doing. You're talking Satan's shit back to the people that you think are the ones working for Satan, as all of the dumb motherfuckers do. But anyways, evil of those who have infiltrated high. And if you're not being a bitch, then my bad if I'm sounding like an asshole. But it kind of seems like that to me right now. Funny how believe in Satan, demon, ghost can be so real, but holy hell if you believe in God. Never said that I didn't say anything about don't believe in something. But no, I'm not going to call myself any believer in God when God is dogged backwards, when I know that the dogs are so obedient and I know what the language is doing because I looked into this stuff. So yeah. But anyway, if you believe in what, okay, believe in Satan and God. If you believe we have a spirit, that there maybe could be a spiritual warfare going on, most definitely there is. Oh, or we came from monkeys. Pfft, whoever the fuck believes that, stupid as fuck. So then who cares if others believe in God? Okay. I care about what people believe in, who they're pumping up and what they're pumping up, because the people that, just like you said, that people's going over across and fighting in the military, they're fighting for lies. Okay. Yes, I smoke weed. Yes. Whoever said that. I see something popped up there. Fuck yeah, I smoked a Mary Jane. What? Somebody talking shit? I'll be down there in a minute. I'm going to catch up to your comment here too. Hold on. Don't worry. Set religion aside. Specifically, I dare you to simply ask God if you are real. God, reveal yourself to me. I have a hard time believing in you because of what society has done in the world. Give me a sign to reveal that you are real. What do you have to lose? Nothing to lose. If nothing happens, you are back at square one. I love her. So she wasn't being a bitch. She just, it kind of sounded like that. Okay. So anyways, she's cool. I did. And I always have. I was visited by other beings. I've been protected. I've been protected all my life. My last name is definitely Church for a reason. I got Jesus Christ tattooed on my back because I felt something all through my life anyways already. But when I went to churches or something like that, never trusted it. Never trusted the people in these churches or nothing. I know it's a control mechanism, just like everything else is. It's just a control mechanism. Wars are driven by politics and politicians and religion. Religion was at the very beginning of politics. This sounds pretty crazy. I do believe Agenda 21 is real. I do believe a new world order is out there, and I do believe in God. I believe we are a spirit person in a human body. I believe in angels. I believe in all different types of things being possible, honestly. But the main thing that we need to do is find ourselves again, instead of allowing everyone else to tell us what we're supposed to be doing under the names of certain things that is not truth. You know, the only things that we should be doing under the name of everything is love of each other. For real. We got to worry about each other no matter what color you are, no matter what your class is, how much money you have or do not have. They've manipulated and made people not even be able to get along with their own children and their own families. Yeah, most definitely. I've done DMT. Yes. Yep. And that's why, like, the ink can't fool me no more. I've spoke to you about this before. Every country has its own governing body of religion. Yes, most definitely. That's why there's 4,200 plus different religions right now. Todd, when I first started watching you, I was like, hell no, this dude is against God, LOL. But I kept watching with an open mind. And man, I'm glad I didn't judge and quit watching. Oh, yeah. Well, that's what they do. They make sure that people feel a certain way. And if you're not going along with their little fucking kindergarten shit, then they're like, well, I don't want to hear that no more. Don't want to believe what I want to believe. Got to get away from them. My God tells me, stay away from those people. They're working for the devil. The New World Order won't allow anyone to have a God except their evil leaders, a.k.a. Satan. Get ready, it's coming. Oh, they want a one world religion. They don't need all of the same religions that's been made. It's all the same. It's all ran by the same people. I'm not going to use none of the words none of these people want me to use, Kayla. You know, I love you. I know I love you. Even though that's probably a bad, because when you say love backwards, it's evil. Live backwards is evil. Live or live. You guys, I mean, what the fuck? If you don't believe in a creator, you believe in a building has no building. Makes perfect sense. Go beyond the ink. You will find truth when you seek it with all your heart. Yeah. DMT or magic mushrooms. I like what you did with the alphabet cube. When we consider that everything is inverted. Yep. And it's all to put you in a box. We're being trained like little puppets. And it's everything. It's in everything. It's my first time watching you and I enjoyed it. All right. I try. You know, I'll piss you off. I'm going to end up pissing you off. I'll tell you that. Trust me on that one. Because I talk a bunch of shit that no one else will talk. They're too worried about what everybody else is going to be thinking about. I'm like, oh my God. You said your last name is Church for a reason. It's for the people. And then isn't it weird that my name is Todd? It's like T in front of Odd, and then Mitchell, Odd Mitchell Church. And like, I've had signs all through my life. There's something going on. We're in some kind of a program. This is some kind of energetic field of some sort, and we can shape it. And if we keep on talking about what the fuck they want us to talk about, the ways they want us to keep talking about it, it will get shaped. That's why I tell people, think about other things, because that Bible, it separates you from your family. Oh, they don't want to believe what I want to believe in? Get away from them. Yeah, God says, even if your own family members are in it, get away from them. Because then that means they're not going to be able to go over here and do the things that we need to do in the name of God. So we don't need them infecting our godly ways. And they must be going, Satan. Shut the fuck up. You want that paycheck. You're giving an excuse for your paycheck. So you don't got to care about everyone else, but you're acting like you care about everyone else in the name of God. But you don't give a fuck about them if they don't fucking give a fuck about your God. While the money says right on it, in God we trust. No, the fuck I don't. You're not special. I hear people talk this nonsense all day. Oh, thank you. You're special though, Debbie. I love you. Never said I was special. I just was sharing a part of myself in my own life. That's all. Sorry it offended you. I'm glad yeah, okay. 65-year-old bitch. Watching from the Central Coast, NSW. I've been watching Todd for years. I love you, brother. Making the sign of the devil with the hand. Video of Pat Robertson making the sign of the devil with the hand. All of them. They're all in on it. You got to go deep before you can see this shit. Some people just can't do it. They're stuck on binkies. No real leadership can come from any God or any human that fears them. Hence, the Constitution, the Bill of Rights, are man's law, not to be perverted by any. Yeah, you're smart. Can't stand churches like going to tempt Satan. No, what? Too bad it don't end well for you. Oh my God, listen to those warriors for God. Oh, warriors for God telling me it don't end well for me. Thank you, and tell your God to thank you for making you so fucking amazing. You ain't scaring me. Poor baby. Oh my God. Come on now. Let me ask differently. Do you know Kabbalistic geomantra? No, I don't think so. Please, everyone, pray for this man. He's on drugs and he's paranoid. He doesn't know God. Fake knowledge. Come against his demons. In the name of Jesus, let's pray. You got him. You guys, yeah, you got him. These motherfuckers are sucking all on your toes. You've been scorned. I know, right? I know, right? Oh my God. I'm so glad that I am me. I promise. I'll tell you one thing. This stuff does make you love yourself so much more. Oh, Satan, you lose. It's why you are so angry. You know it. So you have Todd. But prayer will draw him back. Don't pray to a predator for me. I am not their prey. Please. And they know it. They know. I am not the predator's prey, babe. Do you know how everything, like Santa is Satan, elf is self, evil is lived, like everything is ass backwards, right? God, dog, you know, devil, lived. So do you see? Everything is backwards. You got it? So do you think the massive amount and the massive level of the indoctrination of this, so say, beautiful angel, dark angel of the devil, that they do say that this is Lucifer's planet or something, right? Do you think that that person has had control over the language that you can spell these things forwards and backwards and whatever else? And do you think that maybe he's tricked the masses that are the ones that think that they are the ones that are not indoctrinated? And that the very few that are trying to speak about this, that everyone says that we're the crazies? You know, like, isn't it weird? Inspirational video, man. I'm watching from South Africa. Thanks for being here. Hey, thank you. I love you. I appreciate you. I do this for all of the people that are going through the things that they're going through. That have been trained and brainwashed and led to believe in sixth grade maximum mindset for at least 1,400 years, I would say, or think. I don't know. Maybe they had a little bit more of a mindset back in the day. I think that maybe, well, a little bit more respect, maybe. Respect and of people, period. And then as time grew, then it became more disrespectful, but probably still the same type of mindset. Why would you allow the slaves to have any deeper thinking if you're keeping complete and total control over them? But then after the internet and stuff started to come in, people started to get involved with that. Yeah, so yeah. Maybe geometry, you do words. Kabbalist geometry is what you do with words, but then with the oldest language is very close to our instincts. The elite use it. Man, I figured it. Dude, when you start looking into the words, bro, I don't know this geometry shit, but I'll tell you what, it's like I do know it. I start fucking with this shit, bro. I'm like, you ain't nobody telling me shit. Like, all these goofy motherfuckers be like, you aren't right, you do that, you do that. I'm like, God damn, just shut up. You sound like a baby. But it's just, you can't tell everybody everything, like, but I'm trying. It's crazy how most Christians feel they need to chase down non-believers and make them share their beliefs. And if they don't have, they're going to burn in hell forever. Like, what kind of God, would create such a place? I know, right? That's what I'm saying. Like, I don't want to fuck with whoever they're fucking with that has made them feel comfortable about being able to threat people and constantly to be fishers of men. Fishers of men, what? To put them in the fucking box with the rest of the fucking free dumbasses? Fuck that. Fuck that. I'm not rocking with you. And I'm going to do this one for all you motherfucking Bible thumping motherfuckers about to freak out about this. Fuck you bitch motherfuckers in that book. Fuck the word Jesus Christ. Fuck the word God. Go cry. Whoever loves us. And if these words are real, my bad. And you know how I feel. But anyone else trying to tell me so everyone else can judge me and act like whatever and try and turn me into somebody that I am not? Fuck you. But if your guys' names are real, which I know it's fucking bullshit, and I know you guys are laughing, and whatever else, and if anyone, you know where I'm at. You know what I'm saying? You know what I feel. You know. So for all these other ignorant motherfucking brainwashed fucking little fucking baby mind motherfucking alphabet boys and girls, deaf than a motherfucker, too stupid even at fucking however old, oh well. Look into geomantra effect on something, blah, blah, numbers. Right back at you. Geomantra is numbers. Hey, Christians, when you celebrate Easter, you're worshiping the fertility god child sacrifice, Ishtar. We love you, Rose. You know, when they say, you know, people give, they're like, yeah, fuck yeah, I'm going to fucking do Christmas. Because it's just a fucking thing. It's just whatever makes them feel comfortable. They'll go along with whatever can give them an argument with other people or keep them attached with other people through their job or whatever that, or to keep their friendships so they can go ahead and, oh yeah. Everyone's just agreeing with everyone else. Like, yeah, oh, like you got it, oh yeah. And if not, then you're not cool with them. Fuck all that shit, man. I'm rubber, you're glue, whatever you say bounces off me and sticks to you. I know, right? I told you, motherfucker. That's why they put that TV shit on TV. Are you smarter than a fifth grader? How many motherfuckers you know was sitting at home watching this damn television show like, son of a bitch. Hell no, I don't know that answer. Nope, not that one neither. God damn, these little motherfuckers. How do they get that goddamn smart? Ah, fuck it. Go get me a beer, little fucker. And then the kids are sitting at home like, yeah, we're smarter than you, you fucking retarded motherfuckers. It's perfect. Namaste is an anagram of me, Satan, the lizard in me, recognize the virile lizard in you. Oh God, is it really? So now that I said, so what are you telling me? Ashlyn Bloom, I'm here for the lizard side. They need me on the internet all day, every day, just running my mouth to everybody, censoring me. Like, man, everybody shut up with your bullshit. Everybody thinks you got some shit figured. Have you ever done any fucking psychedelics? I'm so sick. I'm not here doing this shit because I want to do this shit. But I must be possessed by Satan. Fuck. Or lizards. I'm possessed by Satan or lizards doing this. God damn it. Wouldn't that lizard or Satan be wanting to get his dick sucked? Because I'm going to tell you what. As much pussy as I was getting back in the day when I was before, I guess, maybe I was working for God then, right? Or something, right? God damn, what is wrong with people, man? Shut up, man. Look, whatever. There's so many stories that none of us know exactly what the fuck is going on. But I know goddamn well I don't work for the bad side. And I'm so sick and tired of motherfuckers always trying to make it seem like some shit like that. So fuck it, man. I got kids that I'm worried about. Grown. My daughter's grown. Why can't people fucking... God damn, man. Why can't people say their own shit? When people fucking go and get a scripture out of a fucking book that's a fucking witchcraft fucking English language programming book that's programmed your generation on top of generations to keep it all together, it makes you look like a child. I don't care how good it sounds. Fucking be yourself. Don't fucking... The Bible is full of fuckery. Y'all just don't know. I know, right? Would you change your opinions at all if this Q thing comes together and put all this evil in jail? No, because I'll tell you what they're doing. If it does come together and they do that, they're just getting rid of their scapegoats like they've always done, like anyone would. You've got to be able to make certain scapegoats and fall guys. Why you think they're showing all? As long as they can structure everything and make it seem like the money was the evil thing that was doing it, and it was all these other evil men and whatever else, and as long as these motherfuckers right here are keeping the control over the digital cashless currency as they have, because they're the rich. So they've already set up all of everything else. They've set up everything inside of it. So even when they do make us believe that there's an alien invasion or something coming to save us, or even if it is something about this QAnon shit saving us, they know what everyone believes on their cell phones, and that's all that matters. And they'll go and get rid of whoever else they need to get rid of. So no, if an outside force doesn't come here of some sort, or if something doesn't happen with our ancestors coming here to do something, it's going to be the same people controlling whatever regardless, and it's going to become what it needs to become for them to have the sex slaves the ways that they want, the ways that they have trained our children to be sex slaves. And if these motherfuckers don't come, because I'm pissed. I'm pissed. Whatever the fuck it is, whoever it is, we better fucking do something soon. Because this shit got me mad as fuck. Because my motherfucking kids, I don't give a fuck, man. I know what's going on. They still win regardless. Make everyone believe this shit. The Bible is scientifically... You know what, Debbie? I'm gonna quit fucking talking like an asshole to you, though. But you've been handling it good. I love you. You're so cool. The Bible is scientifically correct. You gotta think about who made the science, sis. You gotta think about who paid all the scientists and everything. You gotta look into all the other scientists that was trying to show them and prove that it was all lies to be able to use, to manipulate, to be able to get people to bring back their goods and everything to someone or whatever, you know, like they was killing scientists over showing people that they're bullshitting them. So they had to kill a lot of people to be able to make a lot of things work. No one can do that. It would be like filling all Texas half with quarters, put one red one, blindfold man, tell him to find a red one. I love you, sis. I love you. Think about this too, though. Everyone's got to think about this. How many people are ready to go get their heads cut off and no fight in them, no one talking to each other about nothing, telling all of their family and friends in the military and the police, God bless you, just God be with you every day, God, and all of the indoctrinations of everything to be doing for God or whatever that they're going to go and do, to be able to lock up people and do everything in the name of God, to be able to pay their bills while that says right on their damn dollar bill, in God we trust, and all of the scientific facts of the global warming and everything else that's working, just like the Bible bullshit and the ink pen of everything to manipulate the mind of the people with the alphabet from 1400 years old, that they made this plan, and then they finally started to teach us a few hundred years ago the alphabet to teach us to read and write so that they could program us to instruct us to be able to become whatever it is for the new characters in the new world. I woke up last year at age 50. You go, Heather. Good job. Say it like it is. Omnipotent doesn't need our aunt size approval, doesn't give a fuck if we believe in them or not. All day Like God needs all of this attention. God needs it. And if you don't give him all that, like, that's another thing. Like, why do people, like, because people think that we need all this attention. People think that I do this because of all this attention, like I'm getting good attention out of it or something. And then people will think, well, he's narcissistic. And then it's weird because you can see like this one dude right here, Alex. He hope God saves you. He's just coming in. I don't know. I don't know if he's a teenage kid or if he's an adult, because it's like, it's so hard to tell when you get these trolls in here if they're a teenage kid or if they're an adult or if they're how old they are, because they say the same things and it's just like they're just trying to poke you to get a reaction out of you for some reason, because it's all they know how to do. You know, like the little kid, if can't get, you always want you to fucking like. It's so I don't know what's going on with that bit. It seems I don't know if he's a teenager or he's older or what. Who are the ones who deny their own conscience? Probably the people that are stuck in that Bible. I used to say the word God. I used to feel funny. Now I know why. My mind knew it was something wrong with the word God. I know, right? It's fucking weird, man. And then Cody says this, Cody, I love you, brother. And I was just talking about earlier, like, just listen for a minute instead of fucking repeating the same shit you constantly repeat about whatever. Easy. Install. What came first, the chicken or the egg? How many people have heard that, and how many people are mocking the same thing? How many people mock and say the exact same identical things that every fucking buddy else that gives everyone the same exact argument to try and shut somebody else down, that's going to be just as fucking stupid on any other level of anything else, because most people don't study or research into anything at all after fucking education, because you're already having to go and chase that bag and money and everything else. So everyone that's fucking already indoctrinated to be able to fucking be whoever they think that they are, to be able to come over top of somebody else like, I'm better than you, I'm going to heaven. Man, what came first, chicken or the egg? Oh, well, it looks like you're going to be getting fucked in your asshole. Well, who told you? My God did. My God did. Why? Because you're not going with what we say. You're not going with what we say, so we don't like you. And no, my sister would never marry someone like you. Why? Because you don't like our God. We could have been best buddies. What, if I'd have did whatever you wanted me to do? Yep. But you're probably going to be poor your rest of your life. You'll probably never have no one even really love you, because you won't even know the love of Jesus Christ. Well, don't say nothing to me. Nope. You're going to accept God? Because if you accept God, then I might be able to talk to you. But if you're not going to accept God, I probably can't talk to you no more. Sorry. China are now the major suppliers of the Bible. Now I'm getting Gen X, Todd, haha, the chicken or the egg are being made minus the chicken in China. Your eyes think you're possessed. Your eyes think you're possessed? No, these are my eyes. They're beautiful and amazing. They're really light baby blue. Can you see them? They've always been like this. A little evidence background, please, on genius of 1,400-year-old English language. You have Google, Thomas. I can only hold your hand so far. If you're really that worried about it, you might look. Or you can spell devil backwards. Or you can spell law backwards, or raw backwards, or war. Or you can just keep on trying to come in here and play patty cake. If that's what you're doing. If that was a real question and you're not a troll coming in here just acting like the rest of the little kid minds. But if you're being serious, yeah, you can look on the internet. It's everywhere. All you have to do is look up how old is the English language. And yet we're here talking to you. Satan is a liar. Oh, I know, Debbie. It's okay. I love you. Yeah, let's play another video. We got 82 people still here, so I might as well just keep it going, huh? Keep on keeping it going. Hold on one second.
How I refer to truth in all of my work. Because people have a real deeply mystified concept of what truth is or what it means. You know, they'll get into all these really deep abstract discussions of the mind of God and, trying to get into quantum theory and everything. This is mystification of the concept of the truth. And we have to demystify it. We have to bring it down to real simple, easy to understand language that anybody can comprehend. And then really completely delineate that from perception of any given thing. Because the two are not the same. When people say perception is reality, nothing could be farther from reality than that statement. Perception is not reality. Okay? It is just what it says, perception. Seeing through, perceive, to see through something. Like a lens or a filter. Okay? I perceive things differently without these glasses. That's one perception. When I put them on, I perceive things quite differently and more clearly. Okay? Well, that's how human perception works, like a lens. It's a filter. Okay? But what's there is the same thing. What's there is the same thing. All that changes how I perceived it. All right? So let's look at this concept. Truth is objective. That means that it's not dependent upon the perceptions of human beings. No one wants to hear that. That is a direct assault, a direct frontal assault on the human ego. Because everybody wants to hear, my perceptions are important. And we want to also believe my perceptions are accurate. Okay? Now people will say, well, what makes you say your perception of this topic is going to be accurate? That's because I went through the process of having to admit over and over and over and over and over again, endlessly, how wrong I was about my former perceptions. I went through that destructive process of breaking down my former belief systems, of breaking down my former emotional patterns, of most of all, changing my behavior. That's the thing that's the most destructive because we get attached to our behaviors and patterns. So asking people to change, I recognize it's not easy. It took me probably about 8 years of my life to do it. Most people don't want to spend a minute on creating personal change, let alone 8 years. And, when I look at myself, in all honesty, again, none of this is to sound egoic or to toot my own horn, but I look at it like I was a mild case of ego entrapment, a mild case compared to where I see other people at. I feel like I was the, very brittle stone that just needed to be hit with a chisel a few times and it broke into powder. Other people are hardened granite or diamond. To break them down is going to take enormous effort and work. And most of them don't even want to do it. They're so calcified, they've been so compressed into that hardened state that they don't even want to start. So I realize telling people your perceptions are not what really matters, That truth isn't based upon how you perceive things, that it's independent from your perceptions. Most people don't want to hear that. They don't want to hear that. Human beings' perceptions are capable of wavering. They can waver slightly from the truth, and they can waver wildly from the truth. All right? What truth is that which does not waver. It doesn't move. It's that which is. It doesn't matter what anybody thinks about it. It doesn't matter whether anybody believes it. It doesn't matter whether anybody knows it. It doesn't matter whether anybody sees it. It doesn't matter whether anybody wants to see it. It's there. It's always been there. It's always going to be there. Nothing anybody does can change what has happened. Can anybody change what has already occurred in what we call in the thinking of linear time, the past? Not one person here is capable of doing that. Let me tell you something. Not one being in the entire manifested universe is capable of doing that. Because that which has already occurred is set in the record of the universe. Nothing can change the past. Ever. Great movie on this. Watch the new movie, The Time Machine. Not the original 50s version or 60s version. The new...
So look, this right here. Give me 1 second. Let me see. Rose Luna agreed. Thank you, Yah. Yahshua is not a religion, but a relationship. Be careful with letting men speak half-truth in your ears. It's how Satan's minions deceive you. Get off this. Love and shalom. So what does that mean? Like, because a lot of times I'll take things like, people will try and tell me I'm down this rabbit hole. They're like, you need to get out the rabbit hole, bro. You need to come and find the Lord. You need to find the Savior and lead Jesus Christ and find your humbleness and whatever else. Get out of there. I'm like, so what's going to happen? If I go and find Jesus or the Lord or whatever in this book and stuff, I'm going to just quit thinking about and looking into this stuff right here, right? Right. What's it going to do to change it? I'm just going to be trusting and believing that I'm going to go to heaven or something. Oh. So I need to find Jesus Christ, get out of the rabbit hole that we're all in, that you're in too. You got to use the money. You've got to get along with all the people, whatever ways of any psychological manipulation of characters inside of the game of the Bible shit and all of that, right? And then people won't get along with you if you're not doing whatever they're telling you. But you're going to go to, and you know this personally. You witnessed Jesus on the cross. Oh, someone else witnessed Jesus on the cross. Someone told you the story that told everyone else the story that told a story that told a story that told a story that told everyone else the story. And I'm supposed to believe your story and go your way with your story? And supposed to keep my mouth shut and humble myself and get out the rabbit hole that you're also in? Leave me alone.
One. I think it came out in late 90s or early 2000s. Okay? This movie got crushed in reviews. Crushed. Whenever reviewers crush a movie and give it the worst ratings, go see that film. Because I guarantee you there's very important allegorical concepts that you need to understand embedded in that film, and that's why the reviewers crush it, because they don't want you getting any ideas, you know? This movie got crushed in the theaters, and I'm telling you, it's one of the best films to understand the concept of the absolute impossibility of changing the past. The past cannot be altered. You know what can be altered? The future. That's what that movie's about. And you know where the alteration of the future begins? In the present moment. That's exactly right. That's the only place it begins. Okay? So what truth is, the demystified concept of truth, is it's simply that which already exists. It's that which has happened in the past and is happening in the present moment. The truth does not exist in the future. When we get to those future moments and it's the present, truth will be existent then. But not until. Okay? So there is no such thing as truth in the future. Truth is that which has occurred in the past and that which is occurring in the present. It is simply that which is and that which has been. Please recognize when I use the word truth, that is all I'm talking about. I'm not talking about the mind of God. I'm not talking about the entire reason for the existence of the universe. I'm talking about the events that have taken place in the past and are taking place in the present. That's all. And guess what? That's all the truth is. It doesn't need to be any more complicated than that. Okay? You want to make it more complicated than that, call it something other than truth so as not to confuse people to what truth really is. Truth versus human perception. Okay? Now, I want to ask people to imagine, see these white lines? Imagine these white lines that do not waver as truth. And imagine that the perception that is set against the truth, we're going to take three different individuals. This is individual A, this is individual B, this is individual C. Okay? Their ability to perceive what has occurred and what is occurring is what I would refer to as consciousness. Okay? Consciousness is a being's ability to recognize patterns and meaning with respect to those patterns. Meaning you have an accurate understanding of what's taking place within and around you, or you have an inaccurate understanding of what's taking place in and around you. If your consciousness is high, meaning it's at a high frequency, okay, that means you're going to have more of an ability to understand and recognize the patterns. If your consciousness is low, you're at a low frequency, you're going to see the pattern less. You're not going to accurately perceive. So I liken this to a wave form. In simple, physics, a wave, this is a simple sine wave, okay? It has its crest here and its trough here, okay? And then the pattern repeats, goes up to the crest, down to the trough, and it repeats over again. The distance between the either crests or troughs of the wave is called the wavelength, okay? The longer the wavelength, the shorter the frequency. What that means is how frequently is it going to be intercepting the line that represents truth? How frequently is it going to be aligned with this line, which we are calling truth? Okay? Now, can everybody just, with that explanation, understand this simple model and what I'm talking about here? Is that clear? Okay, because it's important. Because this is a low frequency vibration. It's a low frequency wave. A wave like this, if it was an audio wave, would produce a low frequency, would produce a low bass tone. Okay? As we go up to a higher frequency, you can see the wavelength is shorter, meaning that it intercepts the line which represents truth much more frequently. We can count them. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 there. Okay? So this is a higher frequency vibration. And we go up to an even higher frequency. Let's say person C has this consciousness. They have a higher frequency. Okay? And they're intercepting the line that represents truth much more frequency. I won't count those out because there's a lot of them. Okay? The higher the frequency, the more in tune with truth we are. What would happen if this frequency became infinitely high? What would it become? It would be indistinguishable from a line. And therefore, someone would be aligned to that which is. The higher the level of consciousness or frequency, which is their perception of reality being accurate, okay? Not wavering as much from the truth, because it's hitting it in more places. We would basically, this wave would turn into a line at some point, the higher the frequency went. Think about this in sound, right? You hear a low bass tone, it's like, then it goes up, and it would go eventually outside the range of human hearing because the frequency went so high. Same concept here. The higher the frequency, the higher the perception of reality, the quality of the perception is going to be. Okay? The concept to keep in mind here is perception is not reality. It's the filter we see reality through. What the human being's work is to do is to align their perception to the reality which exists, which is truth. We need to set aside what we want the truth to be and look at what it is. What it is altogether different than what we want it to be. But until we recognize what it is, we're not even in a position to make an accurate diagnosis of what's going on and therefore create what we want it to be. So I'm going to give the first quote here, comes from a gentleman I personally greatly respect. How many people are familiar with Travis Walton, by a show of hands? Hardly anybody in the room. Wow, 2 people. Amazing. And I know Barb is in the back because we've met him personally. I spoke with this gentleman at a conference last year in 2012. And I just want to say, I just think he's a totally genuine individual. I don't care what anybody thinks of me saying that, okay? I believe him. Do I know factually that what he claims happened to him did? No, I do not. But I believe what he is saying for a reason. When I am around somebody, especially for any length of time, I think my intuition is good that I can get a feel for their heart, okay? And when he's telling you stuff, it's very consistent. And in his book, he asked people, you need to listen to my whole story, suspend your disbelief for a minute, and then Do your research and then make a judgment call. Do you want to believe me? Do you think I'm telling you the truth? Do you think I'm lying to you? And then make up your own mind. Okay? And who Travis Walton is, he was claims that he was an abductee, that he was taken on board an extraterrestrial craft at a point in his life. He disappeared for days. They were out looking for him, and his best friends were...
And the reason that I play Mark Passio is because this is one of the people that I've found through the years of doing this. I've been researching since 2012. This guy, someone else had turned me on to him. That was he was the sheriff that was telling me about his friend that went to, was going to graduate from college, and they had spent all of this money for her to be a psychiatrist, and she got her master's degree. And then she went and sat in front of this platform of men and older men that is going to allow her to go through. I'm not sure how many people went through college or done these things and sat in front of the people and told them what your real reason is there to do whatever it is that you're doing. Her husband was already a lawyer, so they had already put 6 figures into her education. She's already been going to the education 4 years, 5 years, something like that. So she goes to stand in front of these people with her, I don't know what they call these pieces of paper where they stand in front of them and let them know whatever. But she said something like, asking her what she was there for. So she wanted to save people. She wanted to help people. She wanted to get people's minds right, and she wanted to help the world. So they didn't pass her through. So she's crying and stuff like that. And so it's the good cop, bad cop thing, you know, the mental mind fucks certain type of thing. Sadly, I couldn't tell you one thing he said. I'm serious. Well, it's understandable. My mother, she's tried to tell me at first when I first started talking about these things in pure English that he is speaking right now too, that it sounds like I'm speaking Chinese. So whatever this hypnotic state that people are in and under this spell and this trance, even when someone is speaking pure, clear English, they can't understand it. They don't get it. But if everyone's repeating and regurgitating the same things that everyone has repeated, like him, for someone who's invested so much time in what he believes, I don't know why you're not willing to expand your knowledge by reading a Bible written by the same people that wrote the fucking English language that's got you mocking the same exact identical shit that you keep saying over and over to me. Please stop. While you can't understand, or she can't understand, or no one else can fucking understand pure fucking English that this motherfucker's talking about, that he was involved in the shit with the people that's doing it to us, and still motherfucker just wouldn't be like, can't get it. Can't get it, guys. Can't get it. Just don't understand English language. Just don't. But hey, to expand your knowledge, need you to start reading this book. It starts off right here. And on the first day, he made this and he said it was good. And on the second day, God made this and made it dull. Or whatever God made, and God said it was good. Come on, no wonder motherfucker can't understand the shit. Sorry.
Accused of murdering him, and he shows up 5 days later.
I love you though.
Like deplorable conditions.
I love you.
Out on a country road someplace.
I don't have a Holy Spirit.
But anyway, again, I spoke.
I don't fuck with nothing holy. I
just
try and stay solid.
Bumped into him again. We were just at a conference. I'm bringing this up for a reason. We were just at a conference in Philadelphia where he spoke, and. This quote, I feel I would start, if I was going to quote somebody, I was going to make this like the first quote in the presentation today. Travis Walton says in his book, which is called Fire in the Sky, he said, I have come to realize that...
Everyone, no one fucking pray for me to a predator. I am not prey for a predator, okay? Don't pray for me. I don't need your little baby games. I don't need them. Don't need them. I know the devil's a deceiver, and I rock with them. I know. Pay attention. Anyways, I'm gonna play this one. I'm gonna play this other one. I'm gonna play another deceiver, guys. Everyone, go get in your Bible. Don't listen to me. Go to your Bible. It's the only truth.
people refuse to believe that there is a depopulation program. This is a question that all awakened individuals are wrestling with. People's refusal to accept this reality is by far the greatest frustration and the greatest impediment to change. What is worse is that most people even refuse to consider the possibility that such a program exists.
Lorna, go copy paste some more, baby. Have you been trained well? Like everyone else? Go research the English language being 1,400 years old witchcraft. And then go research how long ago slaves was allowed to read and what they was allowed to read first.
And become irrationally angry if pressed to consider this possibility. Countless friendships have fallen apart and countless families have come apart because this split between the awakened and the oblivious appears to be unbridgeable. Never mind pushback from governments and international organizations and multinational corporations involved in the depopulation genocide. This is an insignificant obstacle to the dissemination of this truth compared to the irrational and aggressive refusal of the common man and woman to accept it or even consider it. It is almost as though a diabolical force keeps mankind imprisoned in ignorance and apathy, a force so mighty that has rendered most men and women on this planet prisoners of evil, a force so dark that it has rendered the vast majority blind, deaf, and mute. This split is so deep and wide that we can almost speak of a split in the human species, the awakened and the oblivious, the enlightened and the blind, the chosen and the damned. It is as though mankind has been divided, has been cut with a knife, and there is no way to unite it again. One part belongs to God, truth, and the future, and the other belongs to Satan, untruth, and the past. One part is complete, and the other lobotomized. One part is free, and the other zombified. One part is pure, and the other sullied. Those who refuse to confront the truth suffer from an infirmity of the spirit and an emptiness of the soul. We must accept that this is fundamentally a spiritual battle, a battle between good and evil. And evil definitely has the upper hand. In fact, evil has the world firmly in its grip. Luckily, some of us have freed ourselves from evil's grip. We are the enlightened, the Illuminati, in the new sense of the word and not in the old sense, with its old meaning, which is a perversion committed by the unenlightened, by the imprisoned, who refuse to leave the darkness and walk into the light, who refuse, in other words, knowledge and choose instead ignorance. Yes, this is a battle of good and evil, and this is evil's last stand on this earth. But why? How can this be? This is a question, a lament, an exasperation that I hear over and over again. Enlightened people from across the world cry to me for help, cry to comprehend, cry to break the spell that keeps their friends and families trapped in ignorance and indifference, trapped in darkness. Is there a rational answer to this question, to this mystery? If there is, it is this. Most people are not capable of separating the wheat from the chaff, so when they hear about the depopulation program, they treat it like any other insignificant piece of information that comes their way on any given day and simply ignore it. Lack of discernment, therefore, is the first impediment to the dissemination of this knowledge. Those who can discern that the Depop program might be important intuitively sense that it is a dangerous subject, and fear sets in, and they simply turn away from it as one would walk away from a fire, lest they get burned. Fear, therefore, is the second impediment to the dissemination of this knowledge. Those who transcend their fear or apprehension because they are brave or curious or both want to find out more, want to understand before they decide one way or another. As they begin looking for confirmation, the vast majority get stuck in the complexity and vastness of this subject and give up before they get to form an opinion. Lack of intelligence, therefore, is the third impediment to the dissemination of this knowledge. Population control is a big and difficult subject to understand because it is the most multidisciplinary. It encompasses virtually every field of human knowledge, from religion to politics, from history to chemistry, from demography to statistics, from medicine to military strategy, and from philosophy to philosophy, because everything begins and ends with philosophy. It takes a steep learning curve to understand it even vaguely, and most people are simply not smart enough to succeed, so most don't even try. At this point, we have lost at least half of mankind to lack of discernment, fear, and plain old stupidity. This half will never get it. They are simply not equipped to understand such a difficult subject. It is like Chinese to them, or quantum physics. From here on, it gets interesting. For once, the terrible facts start to pile up, and people who are inquisitive and intelligent enough to want to understand are hit by the horror, scale, and scope of Depop. And they recoil from this knowledge the same way human beings recoil from death. People then try to deal with it the way we all deal with the death of a loved one. Some seek refuge in denial, some in derision, some in cynicism, some still in alternative explanations that are emotionally easy to grasp and accept. So they say, for instance, that the poisons found in our food are there because of the profit motive, and will insist upon this alternative explanation because it is an easy front to hide their emotional frailty behind. It doesn't matter how many ironclad arguments they hear and how much evidence they see that disprove their profit motive hypothesis. They will not budge because they found a comfortable place to hide their emotional weakness. Half of the people who are sufficiently intelligent to understand the basics of depopulation are not sufficiently strong emotionally to accept this brutal truth. They simply lack the psychological strength to deal with such a brutal reality. They are too weak for this burden. So they discard this unwanted knowledge to protect themselves emotionally and psychologically. Those who manage to accept this brutal reality but find themselves unable to cope with the emotional burden this knowledge places on them desperately look for an escape, for a cop-out, anything that can unburden them of this horrid knowledge. To find an easy escape, most seek validation from family and friends who have no clue about this subject and are therefore in no position to say anything of value, but who will immediately discount it because it sounds too strange to believe, so it is far easier to disbelieve. This kind of person chooses ignorance as their cop-out because ignorance is bliss, whereas knowledge of this nature is unbearable. Others will find an escape by reasoning to themselves that there is nothing they can do about it because they are just too small and powerless to affect a program of global proportions. So they resign themselves behind their political impotence. This kind of person chooses impotence, their insignificance as their cop-out, because to be small and to stay small is safe and is easy, whereas to wield this knowledge imposes heavy responsibilities. And others still find an escape in God, so they abandon themselves in God's hands. In other words, they hide behind religion or spirituality, saying to themselves that God will take care of this, that God takes care of everything, that this is God's domain, not man's. This kind of person chooses faith in God as their cop-out because it is comforting to believe that God will take care of everything. And others still find an escape in authority, reasoning to themselves that those in power must know what they're doing since they have all the facts and are elected leaders who could not commit the genocide because democracy has checks and balances that would prevent such a thing. This kind of person chooses faith in authority as their cop-out because it is comforting to believe that those in power can look out for everyone. The need to believe in something comforting is stronger than the desire for truth, especially if the truth is disquieting. The need to hang on to their old and pleasant worldview is far easier than having to confront a new and frightening worldview. By now, we lost 3/4 of mankind to lack of discernment, fear, stupidity, and emotional weakness with all its cop-outs, ignorance, impotence, faith in God, and faith in authority. But what happens to the quarter, to the 25% of people who make it over these awesome obstacles because they are sufficiently intelligent to understand and sufficiently strong to cope? The vast majority of these will be stopped by the mightiest of all obstacles, self-interest and social conditioning. Those who have careers to protect, wealth to increase, and political interests to advance will either say nothing about this or will milk this knowledge for all it's worth and will use it to position themselves a rung or two higher on the social scale by taking advantage of this knowledge.
You guys are goofier than shit. Like, everyone, like, Cody, you come in here and you be talking all kinds of dumbass shit, and then you come and you say the best part of having a relationship with God is we continue to grow and learn. We don't get stuck on judging others for still being deceived and knowing the truth. You come in here talking all kinds of dumbass bullshit. And I look, y'all chill the fuck out, man. Grow the fuck up. Stuck on little kid shit, man. Chill out. Don't be here, children. Go watch your fucking dumbass shit.
They will abandon their consciences and the rest of mankind, including their own children, for personal gain. They choose to sell themselves for profit because they are self-serving. And those who don't like to stick out because they have no leadership material in them and are content with their lives as they are, will keep their heads low and their tails between their legs because they were taught and conditioned to know their place. So, they will abandon their consciences and the rest of mankind, including their own children, just to fit in. They will choose to sell themselves for social acceptance because they are conventional. By now, we have lost 99% of mankind. That is why the depopulation genocide has remained secret for 7 decades as an international system, and for 1,000 years as the holy grail of all organized religions. And why those who are awakened walk through the valley of the shadow of death alone and fear no evil, but know they are surrounded by evil.
And will claim that they're Christians, and they don't know they know not one iota of the meaning of the word. You could wrap it in quotes, Christian, Christian in name only. In name only. Okay? They're nothing of the kind at all. And they're a bunch of know-nothings who know nothing about what's going on in this world because they know absolutely nothing about the occult manipulation that is working on their minds. And then they want to have something to say about somebody who's actually trying to tell them about it from firsthand experience, that has the game plan of their owners, that has all the manipulation tactics of their owners, and has laid it out for them to understand, and they still don't want to understand how their minds are being owned and ruled. Now, you're selling your children into slavery. And you're a bunch of immoral people who Christ would have looked at, and whether you want to look at that as an archetypal figure, I don't care about what people want to say about astrotheology, whether the person is real or not, it's not the point, okay? Whether the actual man talked about in the New Testament is real, okay? That concept, the Christ consciousness, whatever, the being, the teacher, the group of teachers, okay? The astrotheological, allegorical mythos of the Christ, however you want to look at it, I don't care. I'm saying that energy would look at somebody like these complete fake Christians, and it would spit at them. It would spit on them, okay? Because they are doing nothing to try to actually wage a war against tyranny. Nothing. Because they don't understand any causal factors, and they've bought into this salvationist occultism, which is where it comes out of. Salvationism comes directly out of satanic occultism. All right, and anybody that thinks that you're supposed to sit here, let all the tyranny and evil completely run amok and take over this world, and all you need to do is believe on something and believe in a concept or an idea or a person, that's some externalized power or externalized savior, and you're not going to actually take any real world action in this world, you are part of the tyranny. You are part of it, and that makes you evil. These Christians are Satanists and think that they're Christians. Salvationism came directly out of the dark occult, folks. Directly out of the dark occult. And all the so-called Christian morons out there who think that that's Christianity, you're a bunch of children, and moreover than that, you're evil tyrant supporters. You are the people who are supporting the tyranny in the world, and they want to say, God has ordained this government, and it's giving the authority to the government to try to reel in all the evil of the world. I mean, you know what you are? You're not.
Oh, shit. It's so crazy, isn't it?
To be defended. You hear this constantly. Oh, the truth doesn't need to be defended. It speaks for itself. Oh, really? You want to explain to me how that works when so many people don't know what the truth is? They don't know the difference between right and wrong? Truth doesn't have a physical voice. We are the people who truth works through. Those who know it. So, you know, they say since truth doesn't need to be defended, don't ever confront anyone on their bullshit. Slide number 123. Never confront anybody on all the things they're doing wrong, on their total bullshit. You know, don't confront them. No, that's confrontative. We don't want that in the New Age movement. We don't want any confrontation. We don't want people saying unapologetically, what you're doing is wrong, you should not be doing this. This is wrong because it causes harm to other people, and explain how it actually causes harm to other people. No, that would be calling someone on their bullshit. We can't have that. That's confrontative. You know? We don't ever want to talk about the negative, remember? Never talk about the negative. Truth doesn't need to be defended as it's being totally destroyed in the world. It doesn't need to be defended. No one needs to come to its defense. It's just dying. It's being slain. It's being murdered. But don't come to its defense. It'll defend itself. So never confront anyone on their bullshit. This, ladies and gentlemen, in itself is bullshit. The correction to this nonsense, this New Age nonsense, is that which can be destroyed by the truth should be. A quote by Hodgel. Okay? So if truth